It's opening day, and you can hear it, you can feel it in this building today. What an atmosphere for opening day here at Globe Life Park. It was a duel of aces in front of a sellout crowd for a rivalry renewed. But the opening day tip of the cap would go to Verlander and the reigning champs. With game one of 162 in the books, we turn the page to tonight's mound matchup. Cy Young winner versus Rangers newcomer with only one desirable outcome. The Silver Boot Series continues from Globe Life Park. And it is opening week presented by Humana, continuing on this Friday evening from Globe Life Park here in Arlington, Texas. Another beautiful day for baseball and another great matchup. The Astros and Rangers, game 2 of a 4-game series, with hopes tonight the Rangers can turn it around and even their record at 1-1. Welcome in, everybody. We're all set to go tonight. Should be another really good crowd. Maybe not quite on par with what we saw yesterday, but a good crowd nonetheless on this Friday evening. I am Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. Yesterday didn't disappoint. A really good ball game start to finish. We had an incredible pitching matchup. And though it did not turn out the Rangers' way, the one real positive might well have been the performance of Elvis Andrus. Well,
we know a year ago Elvis Andrus had a career year, and he really picked up right where he left off, starting with game one. The at-bats were good all the way through. We'll take a look at Elvis Andrus against Justin Verlander, the hard base hit just out of the reach of Alex Bregman. Overall, 2 for 3 with a double. You'll see the double right here. This ball hit well down the left field line. But the at-bats overall, a walk in there, a line out as well. And Elvis Andrus, a good season a year ago, a good spring training as well. But let's take a look back at what happened in 2017. Career highs across the board for Elvis, 191 hits. Of course, the 20 home runs was a big story, more than he had in the previous 3 seasons combined. And then the 88 RBIs as well, driving in runners when he had that opportunity. The 808 OPS. Elvis Andrus just had a tremendous season, 44 doubles as well that you see there, really slugging in a way that we hadn't seen before. Yeah, so a great night for Elvis Andrus. Hopefully he can continue that. We saw good pitching yesterday. No doubt about that. Today, the Astros will once again go with a former Cy Young Award winner, but I'm excited to see Doug Fister for the Rangers. Yeah, this was a tremendous sign for John Daniels in the front office this past winter. And Doug Fister, a guy who's been there and done it, has gotten it done before, so we'll see him warming up right now in that Ranger bullpen. And he has been very good early in the season. Take a look at what he has done over the course of his career in both March and April. A good 10-8 record, but it's the ERA. It is the opponent's OPS plus. That is the best of any month. Both of those numbers for him throughout the course of his career. So an area which he has been really strong in the beginning of the season. I hope he's going up against, for the Houston Astros, Dallas Keuchel. And Astros fans certainly very happy what they have gotten out of Keuchel. He's a guy who's been with them since the very beginning of the struggles, and now is really coming to his own. And the last season in Arlington for him, he did very well in his 3 starts. Now, previously, the Rangers had done very well against Dallas Keuchel, but he kind of changed his ways a little bit last year. Very good numbers here in Arlington against the Rangers. We'll try to get him back to the way he used to be starting tonight.
Well, one thing we want to keep our eyes on today, keep your eyes open for these 2 leadoff hitters, a dynamic pair, and they're in the spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is sponsored by your North Texas Ford dealer. See your best in Texas Ford dealer during Truck Month. It's buy now time. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
Yes.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yes.
piling in once again here tonight at Globe Life Park. A lot of fans from south of here, and of course, a big crowd from the Metroplex. Game 2 of our 4-game series. The Rangers and the Astros, the battle for the silver boot. Well, we teased it as we were going to break. It is time now for our Shiner Bach Spotlight. And CJ, talking about leadoff guys, they're always a key for every team, but these two guys in particular are very big for their club.
Well, George Springer, we saw it to start off game 1 against the Rangers as he goes deep in his very first at bat on a 2-0 count. So the first strike that he has seen. But you look at him over the last 19 games against the Texas Rangers, and he's put up some very good numbers. 342 batting average, 8 home runs. The OPS up over 1,100. But on the other side for the Texas Rangers, Delino DeShields will be the leadoff man this year. And last year we saw him earning that role about a month or so into the season. And whenever he scored a run last season, the Rangers went 35-16. So you think about the importance of Delino DeShields getting on base, of course, scoring a run, and really the positive effect that had on this ball club a year ago. They'll ask him to do that many times this year.
Well, and obviously the Rangers could use for some more offense today. Nicely played, Delino.
Somebody had their coffee pre-game.
All right. Well, the energy level high for these two teams, and we're just about set to go. Let's take a look at the Astros starting lineup tonight, and they did shake things up just a little bit after their win yesterday. No surprise, though, to see Jose Altuve batting in that 3-hole, although yesterday hitless in his 2 tries. The shakeup has Josh Reddick moving up to the 2-hole, and yesterday's second-place hitter Alex Bregman dropping down to the 5th spot in the order. Marwin Gonzalez 6th, and then the bottom of the order you have the DH Evan Gattis, Derek Fisher in left field, Max Stassi, the catcher, bats 9th.
And let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Doug Fister tonight. It is brought to you by HOU, and what you'll see from Doug Fister is fastballs, and a lot of fastballs, 59%, and they are predominantly 2-seam fastballs. He does throw a cutter, a curveball, and a split finger fastball as well, but it really is all about that fastball that sits around 90 miles an hour for Doug Fister. The idea for him keeping the ball on the ground. He allowed just 4 home runs a year ago on his fastball, and that will be the key throughout this season, is working those ground balls off the 2-seam fastball from Doug Fister.
Jeff Bannister getting some final words from our third base umpire. That is Jerry Meals, who had home plate yesterday, our crew chief, and he heads back to his position. Doug Fister is ready to go. There's Jerry. Doug Fister, when I say he's ready, what I mean by that is put that seatbelt on, because he doesn't waste any time, and here we go. And that one right in there for strike 1.
And he certainly does not. A very quick pace. We've talked about that stat in previous seasons, 19.6, and what they do is basically it's the average number of seconds. And Doug Fister takes in between pitches, and he's the guy that relies heavily on his defense, and when you work with this kind of pace, the defense loves playing behind a guy like this. Keeps them fresh and alert.
0-2 on George Springer, and he strikes him out looking, and that's a great start to this one tonight.
This is a great pitch from Doug Fister. We call this the backdoor 2-seam fastball, and you'll see this pitch. It is a ball the entire way until the very end. That movement, that arm side movement, as it comes back and catches the outside corner. And a very difficult pitch to throw for a right-handed pitcher to that side of the plate, and certainly a very difficult pitch to hit.
Now his first offering upstairs to the left-handed hitting Josh Reddick, who, as we mentioned, moves up the order a little bit. Big year last year, 314, and couldn't stop himself there. It's 1-1.
No, not surprising with Doug Fister, because he throws a lot of fastballs. Lefties did pretty well against him, 300 batting average against a year ago. He's only going to have 2 to deal with tonight between Reddick and the switch hitter Marwin Gonzalez.
A little bit in, 2-1.
Oh, that's right. Derek Fisher is in there tonight, and day 2. Already have another mistake in my scorecard.
you incorrectly filled out your scorecard today.
That's so irritating. Yeah. Gosh darn it.
Have to get you down to spring training a little earlier. Well, Mom's thrilled with that foul ball. Now she has to explain why that's such a big deal. just off the plate. Full count on Josh Reddick. Reddick yesterday was 0 for 4. Started in left field yesterday afternoon, today in right field, and shoots this one foul out of play. And that's a little bit of an A.J. Hinch style to the lineup through these first 2 days. He shuffles it day by day as much, if not more, than anybody in baseball, all the way to 101 wins last year. And this one lifted high in the air, foul left side, and out of play.
We know, of course, that the Astros are a heavy analytical organization. And so whenever you're looking at numbers and whenever you're setting your lineup and your defense and your pitching matchups according to those analytics, that means you are going to change the lineup pretty frequently, move guys up and down, slide in certain hitters when you think they're good matchups. That is definitely part of this new generation of baseball.
Payoff pitch, and on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, Pfister loses Josh Reddick.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Chicken Express. This is exactly what we saw in Game 1. Ryan Rua, Delano DeShields, Nomar Mazzara in the outfield. Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrews on the left side, Odor and Gallo on the right side, and Robinson Chirinos once again behind the plate catching Doug Pfister.
Big breaking ball in there for a strike to Jose Altuve, 0 for 2 yesterday. Did have a walk and a sacrifice fly. Also scored a run. Reddick with a small lead, and the pitch just off the plate. Altuve typically not one to watch a lot of pitches. But yesterday showed some patience, a little more than I guess we were expecting. And already into a third pitch in this at bat. Yeah, he'll swing at the first pitch more than anybody in baseball. And when Yuri Gurriel is in their lineup, those are a couple of very quick at bats. Although they are oftentimes successful at bats for Altuve. 2-1 the count.
So that little graphic that we saw there, we showed it at opening day, and it made the rounds in social media. I saw it kind of come up in my feed where somebody had screenshotted that, wanting to make the point to youth baseball players. It was kind of interesting. A lot of people think we're in the day of age of being a little bit more patient and trying to work on base percentage. Not Jose Altuve.
Beltre will take the sure out at second base. They force out Reddick. No chance for the double play with Altuve.
Yeah, and Adrian Beltre knew, and Ruben Odor knew they weren't going to have much of a chance to turn 2 in that situation. So you make sure you get the 1 at second base. Don't make any mistakes by trying to be over aggressive. But to kind of finish that point, it was interesting. Remember Brian McRae, of course, played for the Kansas City Royals. Yep. He was one of the guys that actually retweeted that graphic about Jose Altuve, and he coaches college baseball these days. And the point was that you see something early that you like, don't wait around. Go ahead and be aggressive, and Jose Altuve became an MVP doing that.
He's at first now for Carlos Correa, and they continue to work on Altuve. Altuve will run, so that not lost on Doug Pfister. He was attentive to Reddick and now very attentive to Altuve.
Doug Pfister did not allow a stolen base last year, but Jose Altuve did steal 32.
Broken bat, flare to first, and that one will end the inning. Gallo right there in position. So scoreless, top of the first for the Astros. And now here come the Rangers. Delano DeShields hoping to set the table for Joey Gallo and Elvis Andrews at the bottom of the first. Well, a beautiful scene from Globe Life Park tonight. Astros scoreless at the top of the first. Here come the Rangers. Let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineup for the Rangers. Same one we saw yesterday. So even though Jeff Bannister often changed his lineup last season, today some consistency. DeShields, Gallo, Andrews up top. Beltre, Mazzara, HOU in the middle. Robinson, Chirinos, Rougned Odor, and Ryan Rua rounding it out. Dallas Keuchel, the mound opponent tonight. Now DeShields yesterday 0 for 4 with a strikeout. And he changes things enormously when he can get on in front of Joey Gallo. He takes a strike, it's 1-1.
That's a combination that we're certainly looking forward to watching this year. Joey Gallo hitting second. Interesting with Delano DeShields, and anytime that he can get on base, opening up the right side of that infield and also forcing teams to adjust their shifts. So that's a big part of what Jeff Bannister wants to see with this combination. With Delano DeShields leading things off.
We saw the extreme defensive alignments yesterday against Joey Gallo that were all the conversation after the game and all day today around town. Well, that could be mitigated quite a bit if Delano can get on. Keuchel with a long look in. Enough so that DeShields broke away. Keuchel, the former Cy Young Award winner 2015, and he and Max Stassi might have done well to introduce themselves to one another before the game. Now they agree. And that one off the instep foul, 2-2. You pointed out the numbers for DeShields. When he scores, the success the Rangers seem to have. Of course, you got to get on to do that. He had a great spring training, as he is wont to do. He is typically very good down there in the Cactus League. Chopper left side. And the high bounder, Correa has to hustle it, and he gets it there in time. One away.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for the lefty Dallas Keuchel going tonight for the Houston Astros. Lots of fastballs from him as well. 57% of his pitches, and most of those, much like Doug Fister, are two-seam fastballs and sit right around 89, 90 miles an hour. The slider, cutter, and the changeup as well. And let's take a quick look also at the Astros defense tonight. Derek Fisher in left, George Springer, Josh Reddick, Bregman, Correa, Altuve, Gonzalez in the infield, and as you mentioned, Stassi behind home plate catching Dallas Keuchel.
Well, I got to tell you, that defensive alignment doesn't look anything like what I'm seeing right now. What are you talking about?
Are you telling me? You calling me a liar, Dave Raymond? There it is.
Well, I don't see Bregman at third base. I don't see anyone at third base. One strike pitch to Gallo, and he shoots this one out to the very small gap in left center, and there's a base hit. Whew. So Gallo aboard with the first Rangers hit tonight.
Well, I think even the four outfielder alignment probably wouldn't have been able to prevent this, and we'll see the good grip, and it looks like the cutter from Dallas Keuchel, and a good job by Joey Gallo to stay on this pitch. Yes, he hit it off the end, and sounded like he may have broken his bat a little bit. We'll see, but regardless, it's a good job of staying with the pitch, taking what the pitcher gives you. We talk about that a lot. That pitch was away, and he stayed down long enough to get himself a base hit.
Gallo on for Elvis Andrews. And Elvis had no interest in swinging at the first pitch he saw. Takes a strike. How about Gallo with a single? He had just 32 singles last year. 32. This ball fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes on Andrews.
Well, we certainly know the kind of hitter that Joey Gallo is, and high-powered. You're going to get strikeouts as well. But what really killed a lot of his singles, and it does for so many of these guys, is those shifts. And you saw the way that the Astros played him against Dallas Keuchel compared to how they played him against Justin Verlander. But a lot of shifting going on with a guy like Joey, and that unfortunately is going to kill some base hits.
So those 32 singles last year, that's a major league record for anybody with qualifying at bats. 502 plate appearances, that is. Bouncer foul, stays 0-2. It takes 502 plate appearances to qualify for any of the major league leaders. And Joey had those last year. And his 32 singles, that's the lowest in the history of Major League Baseball for a qualifying hitter. The previous low, Rob Deere in 1991. Similar style slugger with the Tigers back in the day. Check swing, that one in the dirt, and he did not go around. They appealed that at first. Ed Hickox said that Elvis held up.
We'll take a look at this from the side. This certainly looked like it was going to be close. Let's watch Elvis, and he did indeed hold up. Did a nice job on a tough breaking pitch down in the dirt.
Gallo with his lead. 1-2 to Elvis. That'll even it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's interesting as we were kind of observing Stassi and Keuchel struggling a little bit to get on the same page. A year ago, Dallas Keuchel threw 138 innings to Brian McCann, 7 to Max Stassi. That's it. So they have not worked together very much.
Well, now he's run the count full on Andrews. He's certainly not working with a conviction. At least judging by the pace, there's been a lot of deliberation between pitches. 3-2. Runner goes. That one bounced up the middle. Correa just happened to be there. The flip for 1 and on to first for the double play. Gallo in motion created the double play. 6-4-3, and the inning is done. No score. Part of that, the Astros playing some pretty good defense here early.
This is a really nice play. It looked like it was going to be a base hit. That ball was well struck as it hits the mound right up the middle. But Carlos Correa going to his left and giving Jose Altuve a perfect feed, and he had plenty of time. That play happened incredibly fast, and a nice play up the middle by the Houston Astros.
So neither team able to get anything going in the first innings. Now Alex Bregman will start the second for Houston. Fister goes wide, 2-0. Doug Fister's first start as a Texas Ranger. He was the first major free agent signing this offseason by John Daniels and his staff. 3 balls and no strikes. And Fister, a guy who was going through one of those frustrating years last year, but really found himself with the Boston Red Sox eventually. Loses Bregman here on 4 straight to start the 2nd inning. That's 2 walks already tonight, a rarity for Doug Fister.
You're right, Doug Fister, especially we talked about the pace in which he works, but also the fact that he throws a lot of strikes. Last year, 3.8 per 9 walk rate, which is slightly above league average.
Of course, Bregman, you figure a guy he might want to be conservative with. Bregman was 3 for 4 with a home run off him in his career. So now Marwin Gonzalez, and Fister puts that one in there for a strike.
I mentioned that walk rate. That was the highest of Doug Fister's career. For his career, 2.1 walks per 9. I mean, he has been dominant in that regard at times. A couple of years ago, he posted a 1.3 when he was with the Washington Nationals over 164 innings.
Very much a command guy. Allow the opposition to put the ball in play and his defense to do the work. Quicker move that time on Bregman. So he's been very conscious of the base runners. Long hold, and it's a swing and a miss. Strike 2 on Gonzalez.
Big swing there from Marwin Gonzalez as you saw him stumble over the plate afterwards. There's the grip on the breaking ball, the curveball from Doug Fister, and one that he intentionally left on the outside part of the plate the entire time. Perfectly located. It's interesting. I mean, I know we talk about it, so many big swings regardless of count, but when you are a left-handed hitter, and even though Doug Fister struggled a little bit against lefties, you know for the most part everything's going to be working away. The 2-seam fastball is going to be moving away. A shorter swing approach is always the better one against him. He loves left-handed hitters that try to get big with their swing because they're going to hit him that ground ball that he's looking for if he locates his pitch. Now there was the curveball that Gonzalez swung at. And last year that was a very good pitch for him. Just 214 batting average against.
Well, 2-2 the count. Bregman at first. And we'll do it again. Our Kubota power stats tonight for Doug Fister. Goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier here. The walk rate. Now this is since 2009, 2.08 walks per 9 innings. That's 5th best in baseball, and does not give up many home runs either. Gonzalez stays alive.
See some frustration there from Gonzalez, but that was a good pitch, and it's the velocity as well. We talk about that a lot with breaking balls, but look how far out in front he is in this curveball. Good shot of the grip again right there, and good spin. You see he barely gets a piece of it. He's frustrated as if he thought he should have hit that. He should be grateful that he didn't go back to the bench because he barely made contact.
Another somewhat lengthy at bat. This will be the 7th pitch to Marwin Gonzalez. Two. Tapper, right side, and it goes foul. Fister almost able to get to that in time. But I think Gonzalez bearing down on him made him pull back just a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly did, and this ball was barely touched again. Good movement, of course, as we always see from Doug Fister, and then there was so much spin on that ball as it hit the grass. It kicked right. It was a good job by Joey Gallo to stay at first base. You know, we talked about him taking over that position last year, and he's done an excellent job. The tendency sometimes is to want to go after every single ball. You have to know your pitcher. You have to know which one is going to be able to get to the ball, when you need to stay back and hold the back.
Well, nice to see him just avoid tackling Fister there. He and Hamels ran into each other yesterday. Nasty collision. This was yesterday in the 3rd inning.
Fortunately, nobody got hurt here in a tricky play and a ball that ended up staying fair. And that's that in-between play. As much as pitchers and first basemen practice these kinds of plays in spring training, that PFP, pitchers fielding practice, you don't see that one too often, and you certainly don't see it with the runner. That is a tough play.
Ooh, very close over at first base. Bregman just got back in there.
Let's take a look. As you saw his head kind of going right a little bit. Ooh, that is really close. The Rangers are not going to challenge it. It's a good job by Doug Fister to make sure Bregman doesn't get too big of a jump on this 3-2 count.
You know, after that collision yesterday, by the way, Hamels walked 3 of the next 4 batters he faced. 3-2 pitch. And it's fouled off again. So, no doubt, maybe a dodged bullet yesterday in that nobody got hurt. But it certainly seemed to have a little effect on Hamels. Now, Jeff Bannister was asked after the game about that and said, no, I think it was more, you know, working on finding the right landing spot on the mound. And he felt like both pitchers were having a little trouble with that yesterday. More so than it was any collateral damage from that collision. Gonzalez goes after a pitch upstairs. Well, this one's not going to carry for him. Rua is there, and that is out number 1. Well, Gonzalez, that was a good battle.
That certainly was. He did a good job as far as making Doug Fister throw some pitches.
10 pitches and not a bat.
Doug Fister thinking, hey, couldn't you just have done that on the first pitch? I mean, you're going to fly out. And he made him work.
Fister now at 30 pitches already tonight, and here's Evan Gattis. Gattis now in his 4th season with the Astros, 31 years old. Yesterday went hitless. And you see the numbers last year. Pretty good all around for Gattis. Takes a strike.
It's good to see Doug Fister also getting the corners called. I think when you look at a guy like him, and the same goes for Dallas Keuchel, is the corners matter a lot. And the good movement will get you sometimes some calls that are just off the plate, that are borderline, that are close. And for these type of pitchers, that matters. That can be life or death as far as how good a game goes. And you see another pitch right on the corner from Doug Fister, and a good call. If you're not getting the corners and umpires are forcing you to be on the plate a little bit more, that's where you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble. Remember, these guys, both of them, do not overpower hitters with velocity, so location is extremely important.
1-2 pitch, line drive back, and no double play at first. Well, that was a great reaction by Doug Fister, but a good read by Bregman to get back.
Both of these guys so far eating up some bats, and Doug Fister has gotten in on these righties. Let's watch this setup. You see from Chirinos, that's a good 2-seam fastball, and Evan Gattis was jammed. And a nice play by Doug Fister. He started, kind of getting his feet under him as his momentum was taking him that way, and that's why he was kind of jogging toward first base. Would have been a tough double play. Good heads up by Alex Bregman.
All right, 2 away now, and brings up Derek Fisher, and the big breaking ball misses low. Fisher, 24 years old. It's the first time that he has made the opening day roster in his career. Made his big league debut last year in 53 games with the Astros. 1-1 the count. Eighth place hitter tonight for Houston. A 1-1. Fister having to work a little bit here in these first 2 innings, approaching 40 pitches.
He really wanted to throw that cutter right there, as we saw him and Robinson Chirinos pretty much go through every sign. Now, I'm guessing a lot of times you do that because you want to open the outside part of the play. We're going to see a throw over to first here. But a good move for a righty with a good sinker is to make sure that the left-handed hitters are not too comfortable and they're not leaning out over the plate. So for a guy like Derek Fisher, who knows that Doug Fister was a little susceptible to lefties and has the good sinker, want to make sure he doesn't get too comfortable leaning out.
Well, smash down to first, but Joey Gallo right there for it, and the inning is done. So 2 scoreless so far, issued by Fister. When we come back, Adrian Beltre will try to get things started for the Rangers.
I know. I know. Bottom 2 here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. No score between the Rangers and the Astros. Adrian Beltre up at the plate for Texas, and a big day for Adrian as he finally got to meet his namesake. And I'm talking about, of course, Beltre the giraffe. Beltre was named after Adrian when he was in his 3,000 hit campaign last year. And so today, Adrian and his family, his wife and his children, went out to the Fort Worth Zoo, and they got to meet Beltre up close and personal, give him a little grub, and just say hello to the little fella who's not actually so little anymore. So born last year and named after Mr. Beltre himself.
Pretty awesome. And that was a beautiful animal and a very cool picture to see Adrian Beltre with that giraffe. I mean, if you think about all the things that you could have named after you, giraffe probably wouldn't be one of the first things you think of, but definitely one of the coolest.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely got me to thinking, like, how you know you've arrived. When they're naming giraffes after you, that's certainly one indication. 1 and 2 to Adrian, and a little bit inside. Beltre batting cleanup tonight. It's 2 for 4 yesterday, and hits this one right back to Keuchel, and Keuchel's so good with the glove. Makes the play himself. And there's one away.
You're absolutely right. When you're a single ball pitcher, you have to expect a lot of this. We've already seen Doug Fister, and he's done a really nice job. Of course, Dallas Keuchel is a 3-time Gold Glove winner, and he fields his position extremely well. And that's important, especially for these lefties. Get a lot of ground balls, keep the ball away from righties. You're going to get a lot of balls that are hit right back up the middle. We even saw the hard ground ball that Elvis Andrus hit. And look at the ground ball percentage for Dallas Keuchel last season. Far and away the best in the league at 67%. It is what he does best, and it's pretty important that you can field your position in those spots.
So far tonight, that number only going up. He's at 100% so far. And now Nomar Mazzara hitless yesterday. I'm intrigued by Keuchel tonight, the length of time between pitches. I don't know how much of that is by design and how much of that is just he and Stassi having a little trouble coming together. This ball well struck. Deep out to right center. Carrying toward the wall, and it's gone! Mazzara with the home run on the 0-1 pitch. And the Rangers have their first lead of the series.
So much talk about the first 2 years that Nomar Mazzara has had in the big leagues and what could be next for this budding superstar. What a great way to start off his season, as much as we were just talking about ground balls against Dallas Keuchel. And you'll see a little cutter here. And it's not a bad pitch. It is down, but Nomar does an excellent job of going down and getting it and driving that ball deep to right center. That thing got out of here in a hurry.
HOU now takes it low. That one off the bat, 111 miles per hour. And reported to have landed 428 feet from home plate. 1-1 to HOU. Now that was a bomb. One of the quickest we have seen him hit out. Mazzara's typically no doubters, but they're usually majestic shots. And that one, an absolute rifle shot out of here. Ball and 2 strikes on HOU. And that ball lined to center field. Little flare of sorts. HOU will take it.
Let's take another look at this home run from Nomar Mazzara. You're going to get a nice view of it here. High behind home plate, but Nomar Mazzara, just a beautiful swing all over it from Dallas Keuchel. And of course, that Ranger dugout certainly excited Rougned Odor. Pumped for his teammate, RBI #1, as he marches toward potentially trying to match that great season from a year ago in which he drove in 101 RBIs.
So now a base runner out there ahead of Robinson Chirinos. Struck out 4 times yesterday. A tough day at the plate for Chirinos. After a real good season last year with 17 home runs. It's 1-1. Chirinos just 4 for 22 in his career against Keuchel. And Keuchel has seen a lot of the Rangers over the years. Made his big league debut here back in 2012. Time called just before that one delivered. One pitch. Slow roller foul this time. Chirinos doing battle against Dallas Keuchel. We mentioned the former Cy Young Award winner in 2015. Last year spent a little time on the disabled list, a couple of stints in fact, those neck-related injuries. Previous year, 2016, lost a lot of velocity. There were some concerns, but he got it back last year. Keuchel, in fact, a real good run in the postseason for the eventual world champions. He is now the Astros franchise leader in postseason strikeouts with 46, has the most wins in the postseason in franchise history, tied with Roger Clemens, Roy Oswalt. Full count now on Robinson Chirinos. So he came back last year, battling back from those injuries, and became very effective down the stretch, and maybe more importantly for Houston, was really, really good in the postseason.
He certainly was, and a guy who has been with this organization
from the beginning and went through those really rough stretches, those 100-loss seasons.
Bouncer left side of the infield. Bregman goes to second. They get the out there. The bounce pass to first in time. Wow. That is a long around the horn double play.
Certainly was, and it appeared that maybe she was going to be safe, but the problem was that he didn't slide, so it turns into another double play as we'll see Alex Bregman feed this to Jose Altuve. The one-hop throw and a good scoop by Gonzalez.
To the third inning, 1-0 Rangers lead. A beautiful night here in Arlington. Really good crowd. Second game of the season, but our first night game. Max Stassi will start things off for the Astros, and Pfister. This is low with ball one. A lot of pitches early on here for Doug Pfister. Could really use a quick inning. Big guy, Pfister, 6'8", 210 pounds. Signed just after Thanksgiving last year.
Which by this offseason standards was a really, really early sign. Right? I mean, the offseason was so quiet. Took forever. We just saw Greg Holland signing yesterday. A couple of guys that signed during spring training. Everyone thought that once Ohtani had signed and then once Stanton was traded that the offseason would just get busy, but it didn't. So the fact that the Rangers were able to get Doug Pfister as early as they did, I think was a great job on their part.
Well, strikeout looking of Max Stassi, one away. All right, time now for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan.
10-10, top of the 13th when Pittsburgh's Gregory Polanco unties it with a 3-run shot. Tigers thought they had won the game with a walk-off in the 10th. It was overturned by replay. Pittsburgh wins 13-10 and 13, guys.
Oh, man, I tell you, thanks, John. Rads could have probably spent 30 minutes on that game and still not properly summed that thing up. That was a mess. And there's a roller up the middle for a base hit for Springer. A speedy leadoff man aboard now for Houston with one out.
George Springer had a pretty good day yesterday, leading off with a home run, and he's getting an opportunity here on a two-seam fastball. We saw him in the first inning strike out against the backdoor two-seam fastball. This one was unintentionally, actually trying to go inside on Springer. That pitch looked to be a little bit more over the plate. Springer takes it right back up the middle for a base hit.
All right, so a base runner now. Josh Reddick, the hitter. Now, Reddick put a pretty good at bat on Pfister back in the first inning, eventually working a walk. talking about how Pfister could really use a quick inning, and the Astros have already turned a pair of double plays last year. It's one of the real strengths of the Rangers defense. Pfister would love one here. The slow roller goes foul. It's 1-1.
It's interesting because, of course, as we talked about, Doug Pfister, very good keeping the ball on the ground, but the Astros could run a little bit. They got a couple of good runners. You mentioned Springer, of course. He has good speed, and so what you'll see a lot of times that we've seen is they'll put those guys in motion and try to stay away from those double plays.
Bouncer shortstop to second one. Odor over to first in time, and there's that double play. 6-4-3, and the inning is done.
Well, a really nice turn, and they did not put George Springer in motion. That cost the Astros as a nice play here from Andrews to Odor, and a good pick by Joey Gallo to complete the double play.
Well, last of the third inning, Rangers with the 1-0 lead. Single game tickets available in the Hyundai Club this Sunday as the Rangers wrap up the series against the Houston Astros. Enjoy the game in climate-controlled comfort with a unique view of the field. To purchase your tickets, go to TexasRangers.com/Hyundai Club.
And it's also a great place to watch Joey Gallo home runs go over your head from the Hyundai Club.
That is so true, and such a phenomenal scene last year when that happened.
You never know. You can at least say you were there. I was in the Hyundai Club. Joey Gallo hit one over my head.
Well, the 8th place hitter, Rougned Odor, leading things off here in the third. That's right, Rugi for the second straight day, batting 8th, and I think we're going to see a lot of this, at least in the early going. Keuchel's one strike pitch is inside. He's talked a lot about what he wants to do this year, how he wants to change, right, Emily?
Yeah, and we've talked about what he tried to address in the offseason, identifying his pitches and being more selective. He said he doesn't want to lose that aggressive edge that he's always had, but he does acknowledge that he needs to be more selective and find his pitch to swing it.
Yeah, and his pitch, as we talked about, I believe, is up in the zone a little bit more. And when you have a guy like Dallas Keuchel, that makes it really difficult because he does not elevate very often. He's probably not going to elevate intentionally, at least not at the top of the strike zone, to a guy like Rougned Odor. So you can outline the plan, but it can be a challenge to execute it.
Ooh, lays off a tough one there. Strike 3 called, and Odor down looking. That's the first strikeout tonight for Keuchel.
And that's a frustrating one for Rougned Odor because this was an accidental curveball. Watch where this thing ends up. That is not where he wanted to throw. Look at Stassi's glove and where he's set up. They were trying to go down and away and maybe even off the plate. And Rougned Odor is thinking, didn't that pitch go around the plate and wasn't it up? And he probably has a pretty good argument. It was close. And you don't get that call too often anyway. When you miss that badly with a curveball, which probably even frustrated Odor even more.
Ryan Rua swinging to the first pitch. Nice backhand stop by Bregman. But the throw Pulls Gonzalez off the bag. And Rua is on. Should be an error on Alex Bregman. And breathes a little life into this third inning.
Well, this ball was well struck by Ryan Rua, and you're right. Alex Bregman made a nice play as far as picking the ball cleanly, but you see him tap his glove there a couple of times. Don't forget, Alex Bregman was a shortstop coming up, and the conversion to third for the most part has gone pretty well. But there have been some times where we have seen him struggle with some throws and watched him over there, and that is maybe the one area if you're looking for some weakness. And Alex Bregman has been fantastic as we're going to watch this replay. He certainly is safe. The Astros are going to review it anyway. That angle makes it look a little bit closer, but I think they got this right.
I think they did get it right, which it's amazing when you watch that in all the different angles and slow motion. Not an easy one, but
it's a great shot. Sorry to interrupt real quick, but of AJ Hinch, because what he's doing right now, he's looking up with the big screen, and he is seeing it in slow motion like everybody else in the stadium is, and he knows right now that Rua was safe, but they don't have time. They may not have gotten a look at that slow motion when they made the decision to go ahead and challenge it. And he's just kind of peeking up there a little bit, fish-eyeing and saying, oh, darn it.
So the Astros using their challenge here, this replay review, brought to you by North Texas Ford, and probably should not take a whole lot longer.
Always concerns you, right, when we see one that we think is clear as could be.
There we go. AJ knew it.
Get you one last look at this high throw from Alex Bregman that takes Gonzalez up off the bag, and you can see Ryan Rua clearly barely beating Gonzalez as he came back down. Was indeed an error on Bregman.
First real break that the Rangers have had here in the first two games of this series. Delano DeShields now takes one low for a ball. Delano grounded out in the first. So now the Rangers' second look at Dallas Keuchel tonight. 1-0 on the Mazzara home run last inning. A little low. I saw a little heat map on Dallas Keuchel from last year with the location of every pitch he threw and the numbers that he threw in the various quadrants and stuff. It was like 111 pitches in the top third of the zone last year. All year.
Wow.
Line drive out to right field. That's a base hit. The Shields aboard. Rangers cooking here in the third inning.
Nice job here by Delano DeShields to keep this inning going. And again, looks like the cutter from Dallas Keuchel did not get to the location that he wanted. A good job by Delano lining that ball to right field. And a couple of runners on now here for the Rangers. Now, you were talking about Keuchel and pitch selection. I want you to take a peek at this, though. A little bit different here, but the opponent's batting average against lefties last year, 145 for Dallas Keuchel, and he dominated lefties. You see him fourth in Major League Baseball last year, but so far tonight, Rangers lefties 3 for 4 against Dallas Keuchel. A couple of singles and a home run, and then that strikeout that was kind of borderline. So far, a good approach here by the Rangers lefties against Keuchel.
Like one of those hits by Gallo in the first.
But I do think if you bring up an interesting point, and sounds like you make good use of your free time looking at heat maps.
I love it.
Yeah. But you're right, because he's the kind of guy that doesn't elevate. And it is always interesting when you look at those and you see how many pitches are down in the bottom half of the zone, and the type of pitcher he is, elevating doesn't make a ton of sense.
Big swing and a miss. All right, now we look at the defensive alignment against Joey Gallo. This a lot more what we're accustomed to seeing. 3 outfielders, 1 infielder on the left side. And you have to with a couple of base runners out there. So it really ties AJ Hinch's hands as to what he can do with Gallo at the plate. And it's 2-1.
Well, there's no doubt that teams have found a way to set up their defense accordingly where they feel like it gives them the best chance to turn a Joey Gallo batted ball into an out. But runners on base change that dramatically. Certainly works in his favor, and the more times Joey Gallo is hitting with runners on base, certainly the better.
Yesterday, the Rangers hitless in 5 times with runners in scoring position. 2-2 on Gallo. But Joey yesterday twice went the other way against the very dramatic shifts. Both were fly ball outs. He's not looking to go the other way here. He strikes out swinging, 2 away.
Well, this is really nice execution of a game plan for Dallas Keuchel as he kept the breaking ball down and away consistently from Joey Gallo, and he didn't make a mistake with it. You make a mistake, Joey Gallo will certainly make you pay. But this pitch was really well located. Starting strike just finished below the zone and away from the power hitting left.
So that puts it on the shoulders of Elvis Andrus in this 3rd inning. And Elvis, just as he did in the 1st inning, taking all the way on the first pitch. Now in the 1st, he ended up bouncing into a double play. Goes after this one, it's 1-1.
Well, that was a changeup. You don't see that too often from Dallas Keuchel. You see a lot of cutters, of course, a ton of fastballs and the sliders. Elvis Andrus not expecting that pitch in a 1-0 count.
Keuchel checks the runners. And a slow roller foul. 1-2 on Andrus. Well, you like those numbers last year with runners in scoring position. Best on the team, Elvis Andrus. 14th in the American League with that .331 average. Had a good day at the plate yesterday against Verlander. A hit right here could be very big for the Rangers. And he takes 2-2. Brewer reached on the error. The Shields singled right behind him. And they're going to run around out there at second base. No throw.
The idea there is just to keep Ryan Rua close. He's certainly not going to try to steal 3rd base, but 2 strikes, 2 outs. He certainly wants to get a strong secondary lead, increase his chances of scoring on any hit. Carlos Correa didn't like what he saw, so he wanted to make sure Ryan Rua was a little bit closer to the bag.
Keuchel's 2-2. Bouncer at 3rd base. Bregman has it, goes to the bag, and the inning is done. The Rangers leave a pair. We've played 3 complete tonight. Rangers leading 1-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the left field gate as Dr. Medford presents tonight's field base. Tonight's contestant is 9-year-old Fred. Fred is from San Antonio. Fred had 35 seconds to steal 3rd base and make it back to the left field gate. Here's Fred from San Antonio. Houston, the second baseman, Jose Altuve.
1-0 Rangers, top of the 4th inning. I invite you to join T-Mobile and score free MLB.TV all season long. Sign up now through Monday at AT&T, or rather at T-Mobile.com/MLB. That's right, T-Mobile.com/MLB. But you only have till Monday. Altuve drops one in left field for a base hit. Altuve's first hit of the season.
Well, it's certainly going to be just a matter of time for Jose Altuve. This was actually a pretty good pitch, but he caught it off the end of the bat. Nice look at the changeup and well located. And this is why facing Jose Altuve can be very frustrating. You make your pitch, you execute it exactly where you want it, and it's even below the zone, but he finds a way to get a base hit. And little Michael Jordan with the tongue out during the swing.
Fister moves Correa off the plate. I've noticed that when they splice together a bunch of highlights for Altuve, you see him do that on each swing. It's like a tick.
Well, I'm sure he has no idea, doesn't realize he's doing it. We were talking about the George Springer home run yesterday, eyes closed as he was making contact. Things that you pick up in slow motion.
Last year's American League MVP.
What I like so much about the Jose Altuve story, just in general, when we talk about hitting, and I've talked to Jeff Bannister and Anthony Iapoce about this before. We talk about all these home runs and what guys are doing and not afraid to strike out. And you could say the same thing about Elvis Andrus. Guys that were good hitters first, right? They could hit. They could hit for average. They knew how to use all fields and then figured out the way to add power. Francisco Lindor, I think, is another example of that with the Cleveland Indians. And you could kind of look around the league. It's some players that were always good hitters but maybe didn't have a ton of power have since added it to their game. And that's when you start becoming an MVP type of candidate. Not to say there's anything wrong with the lower batting average, high home run hitters. That's definitely a new trend in our game. But if you're talking about the top players in our game and the progression of how they get there offensively, it is learning how to hit first. If you're teaching your kids at home, I would say don't get too caught up in this fly ball revolution as a young player, as an amateur, even a high school player, where you're just swinging hard, trying to hit the ball up in the air, because that's what we're hearing so much about. That is not the progression to becoming a great hitter. And Jose Altuve and Elvis Andrus and Francisco Lindor and others are good examples. Go look at the track of their career and how they got to where they are now. Hit first, power second.
3-1 on Correa. And a beauty on the outside corner. That corner's been open for business tonight for plate umpire Ron Kulpa. Fister, though, working in his 4th 3-ball count of the night. He has issued a couple of walks already. Altuve running. Pitch just off the plate. It's ball 4.
Third baseman Alex Hartman.
So 2 men on now for Bregman.
There's only been 1 ground ball out so far here. 2 ground ball out so far for Doug Fister. One of those was a double play. He needs another here.
Well, he might have just gotten it. Odor with the good turn, and there's a big double play. 6-4-3. Altuve is at third base, but a little bit of the pressure let out of the valve here.
That's fantastic execution. You talked about it earlier, the great numbers of Alex Bregman against Doug Fister in his short career, and we saw a 4-pitch walk in his first at bat. Well, Fister comes back here in his second plate appearance and gets himself a perfect ground ball double play. And of course, the Rangers, as they turn that one, something Rangers fans have seen a ton of going back to 2016. 328 double plays turned. That is the best in Major League Baseball.
So now with 2 gone, Marwin Gonzalez in a bender, and this is inside. Well, Altuve down there at third base. He is the first Astros runner to get as far as second tonight. The only guy they've had in scoring position. Now time asked for and granted by Ron Kolpa. Fastball in the corner, 1-1.
That is such a good pitch, and he continues to locate it so well. It does Doug Fister. I think for a home plate umpire, they know which pitchers are pitching that night. When you see Doug Fister and Dallas Keuchel, I think as an umpire, I want to say you get excited, but you're kind of happy about it. Guys that work quickly and throw strikes. And I do think, as much as hitters would hate to hear this, you're probably going to get maybe a couple more inches when you work quickly.
Slow roller to Odor, and the inning is done. Astros have the first 2 men on, but can do nothing with them. We go to the last of the 4th inning. Nomar Mazzara blasted one of the second, and he's due up second when we come back. Rangers baseball is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Rangers baseball is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Ooh, now that is a sight to behold right there. The full moon on this Friday night. Dallas Keuchel winds it up here in the 4th, and Adrian Beltre takes a breaking ball for a strike. 1-0 Rangers lead.
It was a tremendous finish to the inning there for Doug Fister after Altuve and Correa reach. Does a great job of getting Bregman and Gonzalez to ground out. I mentioned the ground balls weren't there yet for Doug Fister, but he got 2 big ones when he needed them the most.
Keuchel, meanwhile, has been piling them up. The lefty's 1-1 to Beltre. This one hammered by third. Base hit, and that one heading down into the corner. Beltre will cruise to second base, and he tiptoes in with a leadoff double.
Adrian Beltre continues to beat up left-handed pitching, and we'll take a look at what he has done over the last 6 seasons. Look at the OPS and how it continues to climb versus lefties. The future Hall of Famer last year especially, over 1,100 on that on-base plus slugging. Really good number to get an idea of how well you hit, and certainly in case of Adrian Beltre against lefties, he has hit them extremely well.
That is quite a trajectory when you're in your late 30s. I mean, goodness. Nomar Mazzara takes ball 1.
Yeah, for that, the crew that lets you know that you like to tell you don't get better with age in this game, and there is certainly a lot of validity to that. But not when you're talking about Adrian Beltre. 38 years old. He'll be 39 here pretty soon on April 7th.
2-0 on Mazzara, who hammered a home run in the second inning, the only scoring play in our game tonight. He's got a man in scoring position out there with Beltre walking off second. In the dirt.
We'll go back to the second inning and the good at bat that Nomar Mazzara had against Dallas Keuchel on a good pitch, and you see Dallas Keuchel dropping his head right away because he knew Nomar Mazzara with a laser in the right center field. And Chu asking, hey, what was that pitch? You see him talking right there. Tell me about it. And then Chu, of course, singled in his next at bat.
Well, there's ball 4. So Mazzara saw nothing from Keuchel in that at bat, and now 2 men on for Chu.
First walk of the night for Dallas Keuchel, a guy who's done an excellent job of commanding the strike zone his last couple of seasons. 2.9 walk rate for Keuchel a year ago.
Well, Rangers have had some base runners here tonight. Still trying to cash in on one. Beltre second, Mazzara first. And a lefty on lefty here. There's a strike to Chu. That just catches the lower part of the zone. Chu might argue that one. 0-2 the count.
Now this pitch is right at the bottom of the zone and on the inside corner as well. Really close. And of course we know Chu knows the strike zone so well, and you see the frustration there as he was tracking that pitch and believing it was a ball.
1-2. He stays really poised in there, all things considered. He's seen a lot of Keuchel over the years. 35 head-to-head battles prior to tonight. The 1-2 pitch, bouncer up the middle. That one is through and into center field, a base hit. Beltre, though, stopped at third base. Tony Beasley thought better of it. It is a very good defensive outfield for the Houston Astros, rather. And so the bases are now loaded with nobody out.
Well, great at bat here by Chu, who didn't like previously 2 pitches before that, but this is almost the same exact pitch located down and in. He hits it hard right back up the middle. Nobody there as it skips off the mound. And you're going to see Adrian Beltre coming around third and Tony Beasley deciding with nobody out not to take a chance with Adrian Beltre. Good arm of George Springer in center field.
How about that? The first hit for either team in this series with a runner in scoring position. Chirinos with a chance. Hits this one high in the air. Out into right field. Back on the track. And Reddick is there. Tagging third is Beltre. He scores. It's 2-0 Rangers on the sac fly.
Now this looks so good off the bat of Robinson Chirinos, and I know he was watching it, wishing it, and hoping that it could get out. We know the ball has a tendency to carry pretty well here at Globe Life to right. He just missed this one as Dallas Keuchel elevates it. And unfortunately just fell a little bit short. Still a very good at bat as he drove that ball deep to right field. Take the sack and the RBI, but the idea of 4 RBIs in that situation, I think, entered Robinson Chirinos' mind.
It occurred to me.
No career grand slams. That would have been the first one for Robinson.
Now here is Odor. And he was thinking of doing something big with that one. Strike one. See last season's numbers: 30 home runs, 75 RBIs for Odor. He's not had much success against Keuchel in his career, though. And he's in a hole here, 0-2.
It's been a steady diet of breaking balls down and away for Rougned Odor. He eventually struck out in his first at bat on one that hung up and in, but it wasn't the intent of the pitch. That is what Dallas Keuchel is trying to do against Rougned Odor. And tip his cap so far. He's been able to do a nice job with that pitch away.
One and two. Good job by Stassi to knock that one down.
This ball bounced way in front. 0-2 count, trying to bury one, seeing if he could get Odor to chase it.
Odor career numbers 3 for 36 against Keuchel. One of the three, though, a home run.
He's going to try to throw that slider. It looked like again away.
One, two. Another good stop and another good take for Odor. Well, you asked for it before the game, CJ. You said, look, Keuchel's been great here recently. Maybe today one of those turn back the clock kind of situations where we can see the old Dallas Keuchel, who's had some struggles here. Not that he's struggling tonight, but 2 earned runs already. When he'd given up that many in the last 18 2/3 previously here. It's a full count on Odor.
Well, it's been 7 base runners, 6 hits and 1 walk so far for the Rangers against Keuchel through the 3 1/3 inning. So they have definitely put some pressure on him. And they'd like to continue to do so as Rougned Odor continues to see that slider. 5 in a row now.
You think he'll see it again right here?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the thing about it is you don't want to flip one in there and leave it in the middle of the zone. I think Rougned Odor can get to that one. Looks like they're going to go with the sinker in.
3-2. And he'll pull it foul. Well, we've talked so much, and we heard from Emily earlier how Rugi at spring training this year said, you know, 1 pitch, 1 zone. Pick out that thing that you can hit and hit well. But when you get into this kind of a spot with 2 strikes, I don't know, does some of that go out the window?
Well, it used to, and I think it still does to some degree. You certainly want to shorten up a little bit, get somewhat defensive with your swing, especially when you have a runner in scoring position. I think that's part of it as well. Understanding the game situation should dictate your approach as well. So in this spot, I mean, you don't want him to choke up and hit a ground ball and hit a weak and do a double play and end the inning. But the idea of a runner being on third and find a way to put some pressure on the defense to get that run in, you certainly would like to do that. But you've seen breaking ball away from Rougned Odor. I would say that he doesn't turn the aggressiveness down very much in this spot against Keuchel.
8th pitch of the at-bat. And he hammers this one out to right field, but he just missed it. Reddick is there. He's got a good arm. Mazzara tags, and he'll score. And a sac fly for Rougned Odor makes it 3-0 Rangers.
That's an at-bat worth paying attention to for Rougned Odor. As much as we're going to talk about the improvements that he is trying to make from a year ago, the difference there for him, maybe compared to last year, was chasing some of those earlier sliders out of the zone after he got down 2-0. He didn't. Then he fought off the really good 2-seamer in, and he made Dallas Keuchel throw him a slider in the strike zone. And even though he caught it off the end just a little bit, he did what he had to do to get the run in. That is a positive at-bat for Rougned Odor against a guy that he has had some issues with.
It's like he got a handful of bees on that one, too. He took a big swing. I initially thought he might have gotten it, but he just missed the barrel. Meanwhile, Rua steps in and takes strike 1. Now look at it. That hand hurts, man.
But we have seen it in years past, right, from him as far as chasing that ball below the zone in that 0-2 count. He did a nice job of laying off those pitches.
Couple of sac flies in the inning. The Rangers with a 3-0 lead. Now Rua, 0 for 1, reached on the error in the 3rd inning.
The ball that he hit really hard against Dallas Keuchel was a nice play by Bregman to field it, and he threw that ball high, which allowed Rua to reach.
2-1 on Rua. How about the 70 degrees at game time tonight? What a beautiful scene. down in that left field corner. Chopper third base. Bregman backs up, but it's Correa who takes it from short in the one hopper in time. And they just get Ryan Rua. Inning over.
My goodness, this was an incredible throw by Carlos Correa, who gets to this ball just out of the reach of Alex Bregman. He is there, and he plays it on the short hop and just barely beats Ryan Rua at first.
Life Park in Arlington. It is time for our progressive fan of the game. It is this young man, Clyde Whitson, aka Pops, turning how old today?
96 years old today.
96 years old. Happy birthday. You've been a Ranger fan for how long?
For about 70 years.
70 years, okay. And who's your favorite Ranger of all time?
Oh, Beltre, probably.
Beltre. He's everyone's favorite, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, congratulations on being a fan of the game. And you know what, Clyde? Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, guys.
Oh, that is awesome. Happy birthday, Pops.
Yeah, way to go, Pops, and a tremendous choice in your favorite player. Adrian Beltre.
Evan Gaddis lines one out to right field. That could be extra bases for the big DH. And he lumbers into second with a leadoff double. Well, speaking of Pops loving Adrian Beltre, I'm going to invite him back out again because he does not want to miss out on the first bobblehead of the season. Come on out. It's tomorrow afternoon. Rangers and Astros once again a 3:05 first pitch. First 15,000 fans get an Adrian Beltre home run counter bobblehead courtesy of TXU Energy. And you get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972 Rangers. That's right. He agrees. Gaddis with the double. It's the fifth extra base hit of the series for Houston, and a good start for them in this fifth inning. Derek Fisher 0 for 1, and he takes ball one.
It's back-to-back fastballs from Doug Fister that he elevated, I think accidentally. You're usually trying to locate that pitch down and away. Did a nice job against Fisher in the first at bat. With that line drive to Joey Gallo. Back in the zone.
Well, back in the zone. I mean, you can't groove one better than that.
And that's the thing about having movement like that on your fastball. You do have that luxury, especially when you're behind in the count, to go ahead and use the middle of the plate knowing that you have good movement. It's a situation in which you're pitching to contact. You want a guy to swing at that pitch, and ideally he makes the kind of contact that misses off the barrel because of the late movement.
But that, as a pitcher, aren't you at least a little frightened when you throw one center cut like that?
You can't be. and you have to trust it. And it's easier to trust it. It's actually, for me, I would think easier to trust, say if you have 94, but it's straight, as opposed to that 89 with movement. In those situations behind the count, I'd rather have the slower pitch with movement, and I'd rather go ahead and split the play with it and take my chances.
Well, just missed the corner that time. It is a full count now on Derek Fisher. Great crowd here tonight on a Friday night, awaiting the fireworks after the ball game. Rangers leading 3-0, and there's strike 3 called on Fisher, and it was another beauty, and he just couldn't pull the trigger.
Such a tough pitch. At front door two-seam fastball to a righty who called the back door to a left-handed hitter. It's front door, and again off the plate the entire time, but it is the late movement that Doug Fister can generate with the strong finish you saw right there with the fingertips, and the way that ball comes right back over the plate. I should say inner third here for a strike. That is a thing of beauty from Doug Fister.
Big strikeout, one away, and here is Max Stassi, and that one comes back and gets a corner. Stassi struck out looking in the third. This ball hit well though out to center field. The Shields with the long run, he won't get to it. Around third base, Gaddis, he'll score the Astros' first run of the night. RBI double for Max Stassi, and it's a 3-1 ball game.
This ball was well struck, and off the bat of Stassi, you see the slider grip. That one didn't quite have the bite. It sat in the middle and spun a little bit more. Stassi able to get a good swing on it. You see Delano to Shields, as quick as he is, really had no chance at getting that ball. Gaddis easily scores from second.
Hires Doug Brocail now to have a word with Doug Fister. Fister now at 71 pitches. First mound visit of the night. There is activity as we get our bullpen live look, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Leclerc preparing as quickly as he can.
How interesting is this? Jose Leclerc yesterday pitched in game 1, got a 3-pitch strikeout, the only batter that he faced. But I think it's probably safe to say that Jose Leclerc, one of the last guys to make the team right out of camp.
Yep.
And here we are. So far he has been the first man up in games 1 and 2 so far.
Strike 1 is Springer. Got a little out in front of that one. Base hit his last time up. 1 for 2 with a strikeout tonight. Got in on him a little bit, but this one sent high in the air out there to left field. The Shields able to cut it off. 2 gone. And just got in on Springer.
We think about the progression of bats so far here tonight, and George Springer in his first at bat struck out on a 2-seam fastball that was away, and so he knows he has to protect against that. And now this time Doug Fister goes in on the hands, and you're right, he just missed it. He hit it pretty well, but just missed it. But you buy yourself a couple more inches on that bat when you work both sides of the plate, especially early in the game. That's exactly what Doug Fister did. Had he not pitched him away early on, better chance that George Springer gets to that pitch in that at bat.
Breaking ball for a strike to Josh Reddick. '75th pitch of the night. That one breaks out of the zone. 1-1. Reddick walked in the first, bounced into a double play in the third. Fister no doubt has had more efficient nights out on the mound, but he has dealt with his traffic pretty well tonight. 1-2 now the count on Reddick, and this is a tough lineup. There are no breaks in this Astros lineup, but you see by inning, really the third inning, the only breeze he's had tonight, and that was thanks to the double play. Reddick bounces it back to the mound. What a nice reaching grab by Fister. Inning is done as Fister turns in some defense to cap the frame. Astros get their first run of the night. It's a 3-1 game. Rangers destination package. It offers you a chance to hit the road with your Texas Rangers. The packages include first-class hotel accommodations, a meet and greet with a Rangers player, a VIP ballpark tour, and a whole lot more. Take a trip to Seattle, May 29th through the 31st. Catch the Rangers and Mariners at Safeco. You book your trip at texasrangers.com/destinations. Delano DeShields to lead things off in this 5th inning. Top of the order for the Rangers, leading by 2. And a slow tapper, third base, Bregman with a bare hand. The throw. Ooh, in time. And we'll see if the Rangers want to take a look at that one. And Bregman doing his best Adrian Beltre imitation on that play. Nicely done. But it's never a given that you've beaten Delano DeShields.
No, and it makes it all the more impressive that this was against Delano DeShields, and we'll see the slow motion replay right here. And yeah, it does look like that throw just barely beat Delano. Give Alex Bregman some credit. That's a nice play and a good throw up the line just there a little bit, but he did a good job of getting to that ball and getting rid of it. He knows Delano DeShields is running, so he knows the pressure is on. A good job by Marwin Gonzalez. I guess the other part of that, though, is whether or not his foot was on the
bat. Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
And when you only have so much time to make that decision, of course, the Rangers do, as far as whether or not they want to replay this. And if you're just looking at the ball in the glove, yeah, right, the ball beat him. And you say, okay, never mind. But then as we got a second look, you're like, well, wait a minute. Did the foot hold?
Strike in there to Gallo makes it 1-1.
How about the reaction from Dallas Keuchel as he saw the top hand of Joey Gallo, thinking about bunting against Dallas Keuchel.
1-2 the count. Think he was buying it?
You got to run. You definitely have to run and cover that third baseline. I don't know.
With the left-hander Keuchel on the hill, a slightly less extreme shift for the Astros tonight. No 4 outfielders. They only go with the 3. And Bregman, the shortstop, just moves way over. Whether the third baseman playing more to shortstop position. Gallo swings and misses, and that strikeout is his second of the night.
The shortstop, Elvis Andrews.
That's a good breaking ball from Dallas Keuchel below the zone, and 2-strike pitch to Joey Gallo that he can't lay off of. You see the frustration there on the face of Gallo.
Now Keuchel has not had a 1-2-3 in its traditional sense tonight. The Andrews double play in the first inning, he faced the minimum 3 hitters, but he had given up the hit to Gallo in the inning. Here he's retired the first 2 batters in the 5th. It deals with Andrews, who he has retired on 2 occasions. And Elvis Schoenbunt, who takes a strike. Two hits yesterday for Elvis. And a slow roller, third base, tougher play for Bregman on the barehand. The throw, not in time, and Andrews beats it out. That's just a tougher play for Bregman, who is a lot deeper at third this time.
It is. He made a good run at it. And he certainly had a really nice effort, but good job by Elvis Andrews to get there. You have to barehand this. You field it with your glove. You're not going to have any chance. And boy, that is really close. And a good stretch by Marwin Gonzalez. This ball was just dead because of the sinker that Dallas Keuchel threw.
I'd be shocked if they reviewed this or challenged it. Looks safe to me.
I believe that he is. AJ Hinch says, no, never mind. We're not going to challenge it.
Third baseman, Adrian.
So Andrews beats it out for the hit. I think it's Beltre up there. Beltre doubled his last time up. And with Andrus' speed at first with 2 outs, a double here, you figure would add another run. Last time he came through, we showed the progression the last 5 years for Beltre against left-handers. Now the numbers have just gotten better and better as this one bounces away. And Andrews goes to second base on the wild pitch.
I think makes things a little bit easier for the Rangers in regards to whether or not you want to try to steal second base. Keuchel's a very difficult guy to steal off of, and this breaking ball in the dirt looked like Stassi tried to backhand it, didn't quite get down. Good read from Elvis. Just 3 stolen bases against Dallas Keuchel last year, 2 the year before that. He does an excellent job of holding his runners and keeping them close.
Well, now all it would take is a base hit. And Beltre watches it off the plate. 2-1. How about that? We'll talk about his numbers against left-handers. How about these numbers simply against the Astros since the start of last year? Excellent numbers for Beltre. And he shoots this one right to first. Marwin Gonzalez positioned perfectly, and the inning is done. Rangers leave a man in scoring position. We're through 5 tonight. Rangers lead by 2.
was a delay for opening day for the Nationals, too. Max Scherzer had to wait an extra day. Postponed in Cincinnati yesterday, ready to go today. 6 scoreless innings, and he strikes out 10. Scherzer and the Nats shut out the Reds. 2-0, guys.
All right, thanks, John.
Guy's pretty good.
Yep.
Max Scherzer.
Yep. Starting to think he could be something before it's all said and done. You know, this guy's pretty good, too. Chris Martin, we saw him yesterday. The Arlington native, great 12-pitch inning yesterday, couple of strikeouts. And back at it again tonight as he comes out on the 6th. And he gets the heart of the order. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman for Houston in the 6th inning.
He did a nice job yesterday. You mentioned the 2 strikeouts. One of those was of George Springer, but the challenge will continue now. 2nd game in a row, and Altuve, Correa, and Bregman due up.
2-0. We were celebrating the outing of Chris Martin a little bit yesterday during the game, and Jeff Bannister afterwards was great, acknowledging it as well, and talking about the very even-keeled demeanor of Chris Martin. There's a strike, and he is as even-keeled as they come, man.
It's a great trait to have. It is important, I think, for any pitcher, but especially a relief pitcher, and you're put in some big situations so often, and if you let your emotions get to you, and there are guys that pitch with emotion and can do it pretty well, but you also worry about guys that get too emotional. So you like the even keel guys. At least whatever's going on the inside stays on the inside, doesn't show it on the outside.
This ball hit hard out to right field, but Mazzara is there and just does. No, he trapped that one. And that's a hit. At least that's how it scored on the field. And you see Mazzara indicating that that one might be worth a look. That's a ball that should have been caught without controversy.
We'll see here. The ball was hit hard and it kind of sunk on Nomar Mazzara, but it certainly does appear that he got his glove underneath this ball and caught it. Does look like it right there.
Yeah, and the Rangers are going to challenge this one. Mazzara saying, yeah, come on, you got to take a look at that one. It was close.
It was. That ball was hit hard. It sunk a little bit quicker on Nomar Mazzara than he originally expected. And so the body language and the reaction, I think, kind of sold the umpire, at least leaned him into one direction. Gabe Morales at second base making that safe call. Let's get another look. This is full speed here. Nomar going back and then realizing that ball was sinking. Seems to be enough to me.
Yeah, that looked like it was absolutely in the web. So they're looking at this one back in New York. Had a replay a little earlier tonight. It took longer than I thought to come to the conclusion.
I think this one will take a little while just to make sure, even though you and I think saw it one way, it did appear that Nomar Mazzara caught that baseball.
I do feel like we could simplify the review process by simply asking us.
Yep. That'd be one way
I'll
to
give
do
you
it.
a quick answer. But I do think this one will get overturned, and Altuve will have lost a hit, and you don't see that very often with that guy.
No, and that play, by the way, which is interesting, is only reviewable in the outfield. Trap plays like that, not reviewable on the infield, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that strikes me as weird.
Yeah.
Whoa, they're calling it a base hit.
Wow.
So confirming the call.
Wow, wow, wow.
I'm not real sure what they saw or think they saw, but no luck on the challenge.
The only thing I could think of is that they're going to say that it was inconclusive and they could not see it one way or the other with any confidence, and so because of that, they don't turn it over. Watch Nomar Mazzara. He is absolutely shocked. He believes he caught that ball, and I believe that he's right.
Maybe the same guys who reviewed the Des Bryant catch weighing in on that one. Oh, sure. Correa lifts this one out to right field. Popped up though, shallow ground, and tough play for Gallo. That's off the glove. Now, do you score that an error or no chance? That's a tough play.
Yeah, too tough of a play to give him an error. This is a really difficult one. He's dealing with the walls. You see it just tip off the end of his glove. That's a tough play for any first baseman. Trying to balance how aggressively you can go after that ball while still making sure that people flying into that wall or into the stands. Very tough play for Joey Gallo.
I want to be able to walk away from it. So Correa catches a bit of a break. Oh, 0-2 the count. Correa's lined out and walked. Altuve at first. Martin's 2-strike pitch. It's a little bit outside. Infield double play depth, and again they throw over on Altuve.
See the lead there, 10 feet from Jose Altuve on the StatCast.
Swing and a miss, and Correa strikes out one away in the 6th inning. Big strikeout for Chris Martin back here at home. For a little more on Martin, let's check in again with Emily Jones.
Yeah, I talked to Chris today about the outing yesterday, how it was being in his hometown pitching in this ballpark. He said it was everything he thought it would be. I asked him how many people he had. He said, oh, there's no telling. He said, but I listened to my wife. She said, just leave 5 tickets. We're going to set the precedent early. We can't give everyone we know tickets to every game since he's playing at home. So he said the experience was everything he thought it would be, and a assist to his wife for giving him some good advice on the tickets.
That is tremendous advice. Go ahead and shut that down early. Those phone calls and those texts that come in. It's one thing, I'm sure for him playing for the Yankees and coming in as a visitor. For anybody that goes back to their hometown, okay, well, you're only in for 3 days, and it only happens once a year maybe if it's a team out of your division, and so okay, you take those requests. But when it is your home city, that is absolutely a veteran move right there. Say nope. Here's the number, 972 Rangers. We would love to see you at the game. Thanks for supporting Chris.
A long pause in the 1-strike pitch to Bregman, and he gets him swinging there. 0-2 the count.
And that would be an epic reply to a text, right? Oh, hey, can we come see Chris pitch? Sure. TexasRangers.com, 972 Rangers. Like, just reply that to everybody that asks. Here's a great way where you could see him. Or Fox Sports Southwest, also really nice place to not only watch the game, but really get some tremendous insight along the way.
0-2. So they're staying for the pregame and postgame. All right, little activity again in the pen. Alex Claudio getting ready out there. So the lefty preparing. We got Marwin Gonzalez on deck, and a little later Derek Fisher, the left-handed hitter. Trinos wants it away. Bregman scoops it foul. Count stays 1-2. Martin, like tonight's starter, Doug Fisher, or Fisher rather, 6'8", 2 big right-handers that the Rangers tossing out there today. The bouncer up the middle, Andrews able to get there. Backhand flip for one. And the double play is not going to be there. And in fact, that one into the dugout. And they're going to say no out at second base. And with the ball going into the dugout, Altuve is going to be awarded home.
Oh, no.
Wow. Bregman gets second base. Let's take another look.
Well, great job by Elvis Andrews to get to this ball. This is a really difficult flip, and he does it with his glove. And you see the call that was made was that Rougned Odor took his foot off the bag, and then probably a ball that he shouldn't have thrown. Such a difficult play right there. That is really close. And so right now, Jeff Bannister out to talk to the umpires as you see that ball go into the dugout. Let's see if that foot stays on the bag. See it right there. Oh, that is really close.
I mean, it looks like that spike could have been rubbing along the edge of the bag.
It certainly does. And that's one of those issues where, unfortunately, I think it is so close that it might be inconclusive, and it's very difficult to get that call. Now, Jeff Bannister could be. I don't know if he's talking about the slide it off. He has an issue there. I don't know if there was a problem at all. It didn't look like, at least at first glance, that Jose Altuve had any kind of illegal slide. It could be what Jeff Bannister is asking about. Let's take a look at Jose Altuve right here and see if he changed his path at all. That's always part of this, a bona fide slide. If he slid too late, see any of it there. It looked pretty clean.
Well, scored a fielder's choice and then the two base error. And this one being challenged. Challenges have not worked out for the Rangers tonight.
They haven't, but this is one of those situations where it'd be nice if they had the umpires or somebody announce exactly what they're challenging here, because the first assumption is, are they challenging whether or not that Rougned Odor kept his foot on the base, or are they challenging the slide rule, which is a play that a manager can challenge. Let's see here. Here, is the foot on? How's the slide? That slide looked pretty good.
Looking for a moment there, like
good little deke by the umpires.
Yeah.
Now, what you have to look for as far as a bona fide slide is whether or not Jose Altuve. First, take a look at the foot, and that is really close, and he's got his hand on the ball. And then did Jose Altuve at all change his path to try to go after Odor? He did not. He didn't slide too late. I gotta tell you, I'm not overly optimistic about either one of these getting turned over. I think that it was really close at second, but I think too close to change.
Right. I think that's what you're going to run into, right? Just not enough evidence there to overturn it. Of course, I've been wrong on every replay so far, so,
well, I mean,
that might be a good omen.
I think when you know the play that happened with Nomar Mazzara, I think they blew it, quite honestly. I think he did catch that ball.
Well, the slide by Altuve, I'd be stunned if they said that wasn't a bona fide slide.
I agree.
You know, it's interesting you bring up the point about the umpires announcing something. The umpires union has been approached by Major League Baseball about a couple of issues. That's certainly chief among them. And they have been pretty straightforward about the fact they want no part of it.
Yep.
They want no part of making the announcements to the fans. And I think I get it from the umpire's standpoint, right? It just opens them up for more boos or whatever.
Just ask any NFL referee as far as what the explanation part I'm not asking for as much, but just in this situation, what exactly is being challenged? That's all. Nothing with your judgment and your decision that was made, but more importantly, I just think in these situations, what are we challenging?
Everybody's safe. Oh, but they are moving Altuve to third. They're saying,
maybe that was the, that was the challenge.
Listen, that's a big piece of that one, because no longer awarded the plate. He's only given one base on the error. And now A.J. Hinch is going to say, but yeah, that should be the plate. But I think the argument's a good one, right? He wasn't trying for third. He was trying for second on the play. He didn't get up and head off to third base. So the error puts him back at third, takes the run off the board. It's a 3-1 game.
So do we get a fielder's choice with an error there? Is that I think how that went down?
Yep. Fielder's choice and now a one-base error. All right. Where's Rob Manfred? I want to talk to him about the 20 seconds. All right, so now second and third with one out. Frustrating inning so far here for Chris Martin. Marwin Gonzalez, a switch hitter. And Martin's first pitch to him. Swing and a miss. Astros got their first run in the fifth inning. There's Max Stassi with the RBI double. Their first hit with a runner in scoring position in this series. 1 for 6 tonight in those spots. The count now a ball and a strike on Marwin Gonzalez. Two and one.
The Rangers have attacked Marwin Gonzalez with a lot of breaking pitches tonight. That's just the 6th fastball that he has seen. Combined between sliders and curveballs, he has seen 10 of those. And even though that fastball was elevated out of the zone, you do have an open base here with this left-handed hitter. If you feel good about the off-speed pitches, not a bad idea to throw another one here. He has been aggressive at swinging at the ones below the zone.
Ooh, wow. Wow.
Wow.
3 and 1.
That was a really good pitch. And that's a little bit of a harder version of the slider. It's a little bit more like a cutter from Chris Martin. Gonna work straight down. Robinson Chirinos a little frustrated with that non-call.
Altuve at third base. Alex Bregman is at second. Martin needing a big pitch here. 3 and 1. And there's a strike. 94 miles per hour. So a crisp one on the outside corner.
Good leverage from Martin. Right? Whenever you get that tall pitcher, you get good downward tilt on your pitches on that fastball. We saw it right there from Martin.
Pretty big spot in this game. Rangers with a 2-run lead. Martin's payoff. And he lost it. So they are loaded in the 6th. And see Jeff Bannister, that signal right there, that was to Robinson Chirinos saying, hang on a second. Wait.
Well, because he knew Doug Brocail was going to go out, and I guess they don't even want to take any chances with Chirinos going out. And if he started walking away, that whole conversation of accounting as 2 mound visits. Take a look at the mound visits so far here this evening. None for the Astros, which means, of course, they have 6 remaining. The Rangers have used 2 up to this point.
Hey, you can't take them with you, man.
You cannot.
Might as well use them. Hey, you know, for all the talk of the Rangers bullpen last year, the closer spot, and the challenges they have faced the last couple of years with closers, you go back and look at last year's numbers. The big spots for the Rangers really were the 6th and 7th innings. That's where they were outscored dramatically last year. In fact, in those 2 innings, outscored 218 to 152. These were the 2 tough innings last year for the Rangers. And so Chris Martin getting right into the fire here in the 6th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. And he misses to Evan Gattis. The good news with Gattis is this is a guy who does not run as well as some others in this Astros lineup. But if you can get him to put it on the ground, you have a shot at getting out of the inning with that double play again.
I think it bring up a good point as far as what the Rangers situation was a year ago, and the problems in the 6th and 7th inning, and I think is also backed up by what a lot of kind of the new wave analysts talk about with baseball and how you run a bullpen in regards to using your best arms in the biggest situations. And a lot of times those bigger situations happen right now. I mean, this is a perfect example in this game. It's the 6th inning. But the bases loaded, you're up by 2. This might be the biggest spot the rest of the night for the Houston Astros. And so you want to make sure you have one of your better arms out there. Certainly the Rangers do in Chris Martin.
Strike 2. Now, to be fair, sometimes those 6th and 7th inning numbers are a consequence of a bullpen stressed out because you're utilizing guys in different spots than you're used to or would want to because of a lack of a closer. But in any case, these were big situations last year and look like they're big situations again here in 2018.
You saw that graphic 16% of the time when there was an opportunity for Evan Gavis to hit into a double play, he did. And it'd be nice to see right here. Ground ball, although you got a chance to go for the strikeout, and I would here. A ground ball would be welcomed also.
1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. 2 gone in the 6th inning.
What a nice job by Chris Martin as he registers his 2nd strikeout of the inning, and a big one against Evan Gaddis, and that's going to be it for him. But really, Chris Martin did a fantastic job here this evening.
Jeff Bannister doing his best to signal to somebody, hey, I want a left-hander. Chris Martin, couple of strikeouts, but leaves with the bases loaded. Big spot coming for Alex Claudio when we return.
Chris Martin made his Rangers debut yesterday, struck out Jake Marisnick, and then George Springer tonight, again facing the Astros back-to-back games, gets Carlos Correa, and with the bases loaded and just 1 out, he's got Evan Gaddis in a huge spot. First pitch is a slider that misses below the zone. He comes back with a fastball that Gaddis takes for a strike. Another slider here. Gaddis takes a look at that one, and then it's the big one here below the zone. Strike 3 in a huge spot, and 4 strikeouts so far for the right-hander Chris Martin through an inning and 2/3 in his return to the big leagues. He did a nice job this inning. A couple of bad breaks, 2 instant replays for him in the same inning, and now Alex Claudio on the big spot here to try to get the pinch hitter J.D. Davis.
So they go to the right-handed hitting Davis, and Davis takes a strike. Boy, the season last year for Alex Claudio. First career start, his first career save last year, and ended up being the closer by the time the year ended. What a fabulous job he did. Off the plate, it's 1-1. He was last year's pitcher of the year for the Rangers. Davis, meanwhile, See, last year just 25 games in his big league career, had great numbers against the Rangers. Overall, not that impressive last year, and he is a slightly, well, actually, he's got reverse splits as a hitter. He has more trouble against lefties than he does righties, although the numbers in both cases not overwhelming. 2-1.
Not only that, this is different than just about any other lefty. A guy like Davis or any right-handed hitter for that matter will see. We saw the first pitch change up at 69 miles an hour. The fastball sits in the mid-80s, but it looks a lot harder the way that Alex Claudio is able to disguise it. You see it there, 85 miles an hour with a ton of movement on it. Look at that, right from the side, and the way that Alex turns that pitch over, the depth, tremendous movement. Very difficult to hit, especially in a pinch hit spot.
Altuve, Bregman, and Gonzalez filling the bases for Houston. 2 out. The 2-2 to Davis. Got him swinging! And Alex Claudio gets the Rangers out of a huge jam.
What we saw consistently a year ago, and Alex Claudio coming up big one more time here for the Rangers. The two-seam fastball turns it over, and J.D. Davis, with the bases loaded, goes down on strikes.
The top of the 6th inning. Alex Claudio with the huge strikeout with the bases loaded, and now see if some momentum can boost this offense a bit here in the 6th inning. Nomar Mazzara, Shin-Soo Choo, Robinson Chirinos against Dallas Keuchel. And the lefty drops one in for a strike. How about that? The hardest hit or fastest traveling home run off Dallas Keuchel in the StatCast era. And this one shot down the left field line foul.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, 2015?
Something like that, yeah.
So, last 4 years. You know, we use error. We joke around. We poke some fun here and there. But we say StatCast error. It seems like it would, you know, like the golden age. Like it just takes, it's a big, long, huge error. It's not. It's the last few years. Now, you could say since we started tracking the data, that's certainly fair.
This time Mazzara goes down swinging, one away in the 6th inning. No, I agree. All right, Mike, meanwhile, there's some important news on some rehabs going on for the Rangers. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, a busy night in Frisco for Martin Perez and also Tony Barnett. So Martin got the start tonight through or I'm sorry, AAA rather. 87 pitches, 6 innings, issued just 2 walks to 10 strikeouts. Tony Barnett, meantime, struck out all 4 batters he faced and threw 20 pitches. So both of those guys looks like on their way back to the big leagues.
I'd say so. 14 strikeouts to 2 walks.
Inter-squad game now. But
It was inter-squad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not Round Rock.
Oh, that's right. A little early.
But that's, listen, it doesn't matter. And those numbers don't really matter. What matters is, are they healthy? Do they feel good?
I can't wait to tell Martin and Tony that you tried to take away from their great work.
Chu lofts one out there to left field. And Marwin Gonzalez, who had just shifted into left this inning, tucks it away. After the pinch hit effort by J.D. Davis, he stays in at first base, and that displaced Gonzalez. So there's Davis. 2 away now for Robinson Chirinos. Keuchel at 93 pitches. Rangers have made him work tonight.
Well, they certainly have. They put some really good at-bats together. Robinson Chirinos did as well back in the 7th inning. Had a sacrifice fly with the bases loaded. Just a few feet short of his first career grand slam. There's been some traffic. 7 hits, 1 walk, so 8 base runners through 5 2/3.
Two and 1 on Chirinos.
We were talking about Keuchel earlier, the track of his career, being there during the lean years and then really turning his career in the right direction, winning a Cy Young, and he's been terrific. He is a free agent at the end of the year, something to keep an eye on. And what is expected to be a pretty big free agent class coming up after the 2018 season.
Yeah, his situation's an interesting one now with Verlander here, and no longer the ace of the staff per se. Is that one off of Stassi's glove? I thought for a moment there, the way it reacted, that maybe it hit Chirinos' elbow, but
Is Verlander?
yeah, we saw Verlander as the opening day starter yesterday. Oops,
Just missed it. But Verlander under contract obviously this year, next year, and then there is a vesting option for 2020 if he finishes in the top 5 Cy Young voting. That would trigger a $20 million option, which would be a pay cut. He's making $28 million this year and next year.
looks like Banny might have been checking with a replay to see if that one hit Chirinos, maybe seeing the reaction the same way I kind of did as Bregman with a nice play at third base again. He's had a really good evening defensively. Takes care of Chirinos of the Rangers in the 6th. 7th inning coming. Rangers by 2. hidden fees. That's transparency. And by your North Texas Ford dealer. See your best in Texas Ford dealer during Truck Month. It's buy now time. Well, the scene from outside and now inside Globe Life Park on a beautiful Friday night. Fireworks expected afterward. Yesterday we enjoyed a spectacular opening day here. The Astros winning the opener. Rangers trying to return the favor tonight on opening night. And it is cool enough that one might need a blanket.
I mean, is that a giveaway? That Rangers blanket? That'd probably be too big of a giveaway, but that thing
probably. That's nice though.
Pretty comfy.
Max Stassi swinging to the first pitch. Looks this one out to deep center, but Delano DeShields with a great speed tracks it down, one away.
It is a lot of fun to watch Delano DeShields run in the outfield. We have such a great view of it from our booth, and you're going to get to enjoy that same view to watch him glide here. Playing a little bit shallow, but he certainly has the speed to make up for it. And then for a second, he was going to go Bo Jackson on us. Up on the wall, not exactly. But a nice play nevertheless by Delano DeShields.
Try to check his swing. And Springer went around. That's strike one. You look at how this has played out for the Astros today, and Altuve, after a hitless effort yesterday, leading the way today with 2 hits. That's really very little of a surprise. Springer, the guy who got it started yesterday for Houston with that leadoff home run. 2nd year in a row, and he had a leadoff home run on opening day, and that's the first time anyone's ever done that in big league history. This ball hit well out to right field, or just right of center. But plenty of space for DeShields. Springer's a dangerous hitter. This was against the Seattle Mariners and Felix Hernandez last season. This was yesterday.
2-0 count for George Springer. Certainly exciting for him. I'll tell you what, keeping him in the ballpark right there. A nice job by Alex Claudio. He's on a little bit of a streak. We talked about back-to-back opening days with home runs. George Springer has actually hit a home run in 5 straight games. Go back to the end of the postseason last year. He had a home run in each of the last 4 games of the World Series. So no home runs tonight, and fingers crossed no more at-bats tonight. And that'll keep, or kill the streak. I was going to keep it alive. No, we'll kill that streak of 5 straight games with a home run for George Springer, dating back to the World Series.
Claudio's 1-1, and that one hit out to center field, and DeShields busy 7th inning. Takes care of all 3 of them. I'll stand and stretch here tonight at Globe Life Park, celebrating a Rangers 3-1 lead. Stay with us. Time for God Bless America and Chuck Morton.
Please rise. Direct your attention to the airing line home plate.
In honor of all the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed home and around the world, Frankie and Rocco will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above, from the
Park. Lots of smiles today and a lot more fun out here at the ballpark. After a tough one yesterday, not a lot going on offensively in yesterday's game for the Rangers. Rougned Odor will lead things off against Joe Smith.
Joe Smith hopping off the mound right there as Rougned Odor showed bunt, drawing Alex Bregman in, who was already, I mean, it's not that heavy of a shift where there's nobody on the third base side of second, but certainly some room for a bunt. Joe Smith, a very tough righty. Lots of movement from that arm angle. As you see back-to-back fastballs at 88 miles an hour.
Smith replacing Dallas Keuchel and finds the outside corner for strike 2 on Odor. See what the Rangers have done tonight. Everybody engaged there in the top 6 spots of the order. Bottom third still looking for their first hit. And it's 2-2 on Odor. And really, that was a lot of the conversation this spring. And heading into the season opener, Jeff Bannister wants to see more production, better at bats from the bottom third of the order. Ground ball sharply off second, picked up by Correa, and he'll throw to first. That ball hit so hard that Odor got himself out. Altuve simply banking it over to Correa.
And not your traditional 4-6-3, but this is the advantage, I guess, of having multiple infielders on one side, more than 2 infielders on one side of the infield. And under normal circumstances, that probably would have been a base hit for Rougned Odor, but Carlos Correa with a quick reaction, and he's got a tremendous arm.
So a tough result there for Rougned Odor, and now here is Ryan Rua. And he takes strike 1.
This is career game number 699 for Joe Smith. 12th season he has spent in the big leagues. A lot of time with the Cleveland Indians. 2009 to 2013, and then returned last year.
Head 0-2 now on Rua. Rua reached on the error, grounded out. 0-2. Pops this one foul back behind the plate. This one down toward the corner. How about Reddick covering some ground, and not a lot of room down there, but able to make the basket catch and retire Rua for the second out of the inning.
That is a really difficult play as you're sprinting over toward the line. Not a lot of room as you get closer to that wall. Josh Reddick, of course, is a Gold Glove winner. You see him look at the wall and get close, and the basket catch right at the line, and just a couple of steps to spare. Good reaction. Really tough play. You know, last year, remember in the postseason, watching Josh Reddick made a really nice play in the corner against the New York Yankees on a relay play. You watch him consistently, you'll see a defensive clinic from Josh Reddick.
Well, he plays really hard, goes very hard into plays like that. And I want to say early in his Astros career, really injured himself on a similar play, going into a tarp or into a wall on the side of the outfield. So he's a guy who, you know, and you see this time and again, guys sometimes even criticized for playing a little too hard and recklessly. But you never want to take that out of a guy. Shields doesn't quite look right after that last one.
See him grabbing his left hand. Let's take a look at this last swing and see if we can pick up on anything from Delino. It's the bottom hand. There, well, yeah, certainly a reaction.
I don't like that.
No, you certainly don't. And if there's any kind of weakness, any kind of even minor injury, pretty difficult to hit as far as your ability to grab the bat full strength. He's explaining to Kevin Harmon exactly what's going on. Appears Delino will stay in, but I don't know, he seems a little bit concerned, maybe not 100% convinced.
Now those are scary when you see that reaction, because there was no contact. There was nothing like that that caused it. So it might be that he's battling a little something in that wrist or hand. Well, the one-strike pitch, that one's low and away. I should correct myself on Reddick. The injury was when he was with Oakland. He had one of those breakthrough years with the Oakland A's when he came over from Boston. I want to say it was in 2013 maybe. Anyway, pitch gets away this time, and it's 2-1.
Now this is interesting. If you're Joe Smith, you're an opposing pitcher, and you watch a hitter go through that, and if you're really paying attention, and obviously we had a great view of it on TV, but it does look like Delino DeShields might be feeling a little bit something. And so you're thinking there should be an advantage pitcher here. Would he be swinging a little bit tentatively? Does he feel comfortable letting it fly? And Joe Smith has thrown 3 straight balls since that break.
In danger of putting DeShields on here. 3-1, and he does. There's ball 4, 2-out walk. Well, a very positive result out of all that for DeShields. And it looks like a little visit to the mound gives us a chance for another Chevy game break. Let's check in again with John Radigan.
All right, Dave, thank you much. Philadelphia Phillies had some big offseason moves trying to compete. Here's one of those moves. Carlos Santana goes deep to right. That's in the 5th. It's in Atlanta. It ties the game at 3. Phillies now leading it 4-3 in the bottom of the 8th, guys.
It was an interesting offseason for the Phillies, and I agree. I think a lot of people thought they were a team that at some point would start to dip into the free agent market. I don't know if it was expected necessarily this year. They did exactly that. Carlos Santana for $60 million, Jake Arrieta for $75 million. They signed a couple relievers as well. Tommy Hunter, Pat Neshek. Got a rookie manager, former MLB whip-around analyst Gabe Kapler.
Well, here's Gallo, and he hits this ball hard out to center field. That one back, and off the top of the fence. DeShields with a good start. He's around third. He'll come to the plate. He scores! For the Rangers, Joey Gallo with a blast off the fence in center field.
To give you an idea how hard Joey Gallo hits baseballs. Now off the bat, I'm watching George Springer, and I'm like, oh, looks like he got a beat on this ball, and he's coasting, and this thing just continued to go. Two-seam fastball from Joe Smith, and a pretty good one down and away, but Joey Gallo gets those arms extended and absolutely drills this baseball. Watch George Springer. I'm watching it. I think he's got a beat on it. All of a sudden, he's watching this thing go over his head, and it hits the very top of the wall. And Delino DeShields with that great speed just takes off with 2 outs and scores easily. We're going to see him slide into home, but he scores easily. And that one was smoke, Dave. Give me some of your StatCast data on how hard that ball was hit.
That was 1,000,000 miles an hour.
That's what I was going to guess.
A new StatCast record. Here's Elvis Andrus. And he takes a strike. Yeah, he's going to look at DeShields now in the dugout, taking a look at that left hand.
I saw him playing with it more in the middle of his hand. You know, you worry sometimes about the wrist, the handmade bones, and everything else. This almost seemed a little bit more middle for Delino.
Andrews spoils that one. 0-2 the count. So a 2-out walk to DeShields. And then Gallo with that laser off the fence. Big insurance run for the Rangers. They scored a run in the second, 2 in the fourth, and now 1 here in the 7th inning. Not done yet. The 0-2 from Smith, and it's fouled off.
It was much fun as it is to watch Joey Gallo hit 500-foot home runs and hit them high and far. I got to tell you, that was pretty fun to watch as well. That thing looked like it got about 15 feet off the ground the entire way.
Check swing didn't go. Yeah, might have still been on the way up. It might not have hit its apex yet.
Smoked.
So Gallo with a couple of hits in this one tonight. 1-2. Andrews smashes that one through and into left field, a base hit. Gallo on his horse around third. Here comes a throw, and it's offline. Gallo scores. Andrews into second base, and it's 5-1 Texas.
Well, it really looked like Joe Smith was going to have a smooth inning after retiring the first 2 hitters that he faced. Delano DeShields draws the walk. Joey Gallo smokes a double, and now Elvis Andrews joins in. Another 2-seam fastball, pretty well located. And you got to keep your hands in to be able to get to that kind of pitch, and Elvis Andrews does exactly that. Joey Gallo going hard with 2 outs. This throw up the line a little bit, and then gets past Stassi. As you see the diving Alex Bregman unable to get to that ball. Good base running by Joey Gallo, and a nice string of at-bats here by the Rangers.
Good night for Gallo in that 2-hole tonight. Adrian Beltre now up there with a chance to add to the lead. 5-1 Rangers, bottom of the 7th. All right, what if I told you I had a number on that?
You already gave me a number. I already wrote it down.
Oh, you wrote down $1 million?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was just joking.
No way.
All right, here you go. Check this out. Here's your answer.
Well, like that laser trying to keep up with that ball, not that easy when it's hit that hard, but right off the top, 115 miles an hour, 409 feet. It said home run distance. That was not a home run, but we all wished it was.
1-1 on Beltre.
And they do a good job of taking into account not where it hit on the wall, but actually where that ball would have landed had it hit the ground.
Andrews with a good lead, and time granted.
56 miles an hour there from Joe Smith, who still threw that pitch.
When that happened to you, would you just go ahead and throw it, or would you try and stop yourself?
Sometimes. It all depends. You've already started your motion. It's not a terrible idea to go ahead and throw something. You know, what scares guys a lot of times is the idea of starting your motion and then stopping, especially when you're going, you know, full speed and pretty intensely. So they'll go ahead and they feel better just throwing it nice and easy, or throwing it to the backstop.
Here's a 2-1. Ooh. Tough pitch right on the corner. It's 2-2.
Really getting a nice look between Alex Claudio and Joe Smith. The good side armors, the value. If you don't have the high velocity, we really haven't seen a lot of high velocities tonight. Chris Martin's been the hardest thrower by far. But you think about both starters that we have seen. As much as this game has become about power on the offensive side and certainly on the pitching side, quite a different look here tonight.
Beltre swings and misses, and that strikeout ends the Rangers rally in the 7th, but they add 2 more. Couple of 2-out doubles by Joey Gallo and Elvis Andrews. We'll head to the 8th inning with the Rangers up by 4.
And now they will be handing the ball off to a new pitcher here in the 8th, Kevin Jepson. Jepson pitched in last night's ball game, the right-hander. A little bit on the comeback trail after spending a half a year not pitching and then pitching in AAA with the Washington Nationals. He was very good yesterday. 14 pitches. A nice clean inning. He had 1 strikeout in that inning of work. And the big spot here now with the Rangers leading by 4 in the top of the 8th.
Well, Jepson looks like a guy who's going to be very critical of this bullpen this year. I think it's a tough spot in the order in this 8th inning. Upstairs to Altuve for ball 1. Two for 3 tonight for Altuve. And a chopper left side of the infield. Andrews has time, fires, and it's in time. 1 away in the 8th. Now a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
We're so confident in our new car pricing that if I can't beat a new car Kia deal in Texas, I'm just going to give it to you.
Jepson with a quick out to start the 8th inning, and now we'll deal with Carlos Correa.
That was the 3rd time that Jose Altuve has led off an inning. He led off the 4th, 6th, and now the 8th, and the first time the Rangers were able to retire him in that situation. And when you have Jose Altuve leading off an inning, even though he hits in the middle of the order, he's certainly a very difficult out. Really can change the dynamic of an inning when you can keep him off the bases, especially when you got a couple of tough righties coming up in Carlos Correa and Alex Bregman.
Jepson, 4th pitcher of the night for the Rangers. And the 1-0. Smashed to shortstop, and that one gets past Andrews. And Correa is on. Boy, that ball was hit hard. And Andrews not happy that he didn't come up with it.
This ball was hit pretty hard off the bat of Carlos Correa. We'll watch the pitch here from Jepson. Fastball slightly elevated and away. Good strong finish from Correa. And this one got on Elvis Andrews pretty quickly. Could not quite get the glove down in time.
So the error provides the Astros a base runner in this 8th inning. Here is Alex Bregman. Bregman hit into a double play in the 4th inning. 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. He takes a strike from Jepson. Jepson had a good year a couple years ago when he split time between Tampa Bay and Minnesota. Jepson combined for 10 saves and 15 opportunities. He had a .233 earned run average. 75 total appearances and 69 innings pitched. 0-2. Since then, he's had a little trouble with what he calls dead arm. Jake Diekman looks like he may be ready to go out on the pen. Like last year, Jepson said he felt like he was throwing underwater. that you know cannot be a great sensation.
No, and it's not uncommon. You know, it's as weird as it sounds. It's one of those things that is very difficult to diagnose. There's no injury. There's no structural damage, but guys go through periods, and at the end of spring training, it's a time when it usually can happen, or your arm just doesn't feel right. You can't get going. You don't have that good flow. You don't have the good snap, good finish on pitches, and regardless of what you do, it's really difficult to snap out of it. Some people say you got to keep throwing through it. Some people feel like you have to take some time off. There's not really a medication that you take for it. It's not inflammation or anything like that. And actually, and you don't hear this too often, some talk about Josh Donaldson going through that right now at third base for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was having some issues throwing in their opener. But your arm, yeah, I mean, I think underwater is a good way to describe it. Your arm feels just kind of heavy, kind of lifeless, and everyone tells you don't worry, it'll go away, it'll go away. But
his was extended.
When you're in the middle of your career, you're thinking, man, will it go away? And what's going to happen in the meantime?
Yeah, he felt like it was for the better part of 2016 and then 2017 through spring training, and he just didn't feel like he was going to get out of it. Made a mechanical adjustment late last season in the minor leagues, and it just snapped everything together for him, and he feels like he's got it back again. Now, when I hear guys talk about having dead arm and going through that, it's usually like a couple weeks.
Yep.
You know. But you're talking like a year, nearly 2 years, that Jepsen felt like he was dealing with that. 2-2. Check swing roller, first base. Gallo steps on the bag. One, and the tag for the double play. Big defensive play by Joey Gallo, and Jepsen puts up a goose egg in the 8th. Last of the 8th coming. Rangers up by 4. #1 Rangers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get a Rangers home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, news, well, and a whole lot more. Download MLB at Bat today. Hector Rondon, the hard-throwing reliever, on for the Houston Astros, signed this offseason to a 2-year deal.
One of the 2 major additions to that bullpen. We just saw Joe Smith. Hector Rondon was the other, and that's an area for the Houston Astros where we saw some of their better arms yesterday, and there certainly are some good ones, but they wanted to shore up a little bit. You mentioned the good stuff from Rondon. That led to 69 strikeouts in 57 1/3 innings last season in his 61 games pitched.
Jumped ahead of Mazzara, 0-2. Well, Mazzara got it started tonight with a home run back in the 2nd inning, and he takes strike 3 call. Wow. Oh, that was a borderline fastball that time from Rondon, and Mazzara done quickly here in the 8th.
They didn't like it. It was firm at 98 miles an hour, but we'll take a look on the Fox tracks at the location. That's a nice job by Stassi. That ball was probably just off the plate. Watch the slight movement of the glove after he catches it, just a little bit. You don't want to move too much. You move a lot, you're never going to steal a call for your pitcher, but is that slight subtle movement sometimes makes a pitch look a little bit better than it was.
2 fouls off the first pitch he sees from Rondon. 2 for 3 tonight. Good night at the plate. Rangers with 5 runs on 9 hits. One and one the count. To the DH again tonight. In fact, the Rangers going with the same lineup that they used yesterday. You're used to seeing so many different lineups for all teams. It's sort of a rarity when you see back-to-back lineups the same. And you get the sense with the way this team is put together, Jeff Bannister, A, likes what this lineup looks like right now, and B, wants to give it a chance. See if maybe this does work in this order. It's a 2-1 pitch. This one hit well out to left field. Gonzalez going back to the warning track, to the wall. It's gone! Or is it in play? Just above the scoreboard. The fans.
Well, there's your call.
Yeah, I'm with those guys.
I think those guys are members of Team Dave right now on that call. There was the way that bounced off the wall that made you think maybe it hit the back of the wall. We'll get a better look of it right here as this ball comes down, and oh my goodness, it's right at the top. That does look like it stayed in. It might, I mean, the Rangers tonight missing a couple of home runs by just inches.
Oh man.
Jeff Bannister is going to come out. And he's going to ask the home plate umpires to talk about it and consider looking at it.
Well, the outfield wall here in Arlington, it's 8 feet tall from the right field corner all the way around to left field, where that scoreboard area goes up 14 feet high. So you got to get a little extra up there. And that one looked like, as you pointed out, like it may have hit the top of the padding. Let's see here.
I mean, inches, maybe not even 1 inch, would have made all the difference right there. You see the reaction of some of the fans. What a fantastic shot that is.
Sometimes with, yeah,
right on the corner.
Hit the top. There's some places where that back wall is closer, and you can get like a really short bounce off that back wall that then hits the pad and off. But there's too much distance there. Hey, good look at that. Several feet. And that one hit right off the top of that padding. And I'll take a look at it, but this will no doubt be a double. So they got it right. They got to try.
Is that 4 reviews we've had? Is that right in this game?
Been busy.
One last look here as you're going to see this ball hit the very, I mean, right on the corner. That is incredible. You could throw a ball there from 5 feet away, 10 tries.
Now Chirinos. Up high.
Now you're talking about the lineup, the consistency of the lineup. I think there's a decent chance. Jeff Bannister talked about this on opening day when he had his meeting with the media, that we might see Juan Centeno catching tomorrow. He said possibly on Saturday. We will see if he catches Matt Moore in that matchup. But there is something to be said, as much as I just talked about earlier with the Astros and the changes, and it's a trend in the game and playing matchups, trying to put your team in the best position you can to succeed, and so that means juggling a lineup maybe more than we have seen in generations past. There's still something to be said for the consistency. I think most players would tell you that if they had their choice, they would like to know that they had a steady spot in the lineup, and they knew every day they walked in the clubhouse that they'd be playing most days, and where they would be hitting on those days would make life a little bit easier. But I do think today's modern player a little bit more accepting of the flexibility and the changes in a lineup as well.
Two balls and a strike on Chirinos, who drove on a run in the 4th inning with the first of back-to-back sac flies in that inning. Rangers had the bases loaded, nobody out in that 4th against Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel knocked out after 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits. Bouncer at third base, that stays fair. Long throw, and Bregman gets it there for the out. So tomorrow, by the way, an afternoon contest, and our probables brought to you by North Texas Ford. Lance McCullers Jr., who has struggled against the Rangers in the past. He'll have the ball for Houston. And Matt Moore, who has done quite well against the Astros in his career, he will be making his Rangers debut.
forward to that. Matt Moore, lots of success when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays. A little bit of an off year last year with the Giants until the Rangers were able to acquire him this offseason. Lots of talk about adjustments in the repertoire. I'm looking forward to seeing him make his debut here in Arlington tomorrow.
Odor swings, launches this one high in the air out there to right field into the deepest part of the park. And Josh Reddick found it just before the fence. Odor just missed. Rangers leave a man on to the deepest part, but there was just enough room for Reddick.
Mazzara hitting the first home run of the season for the Rangers, and then Joey Gallo tried to join the home run club, but he went off the top of the wall. So you see Delino DeShields coming around to score, and so a good offensive night here so far, and hopefully for the Rangers they do not hit again as Keone Kela is in to try to wrap things up here against the Houston Astros. A year ago, 39 games, 51 strikeouts in 38 2/3. Near a 2.79. The opponent's batting average is really what stuck out last year with Kela. And even though this is a non-save situation, he is a guy that is looked at as a potential closer this year for the Rangers. I think Jeff Bannister would love to see Kela jump up and take hold of that spot, and really take ownership of it. Be the closer that they have been seeking and can count on from beginning to end for a full season.
A nice looking fastball right there for a strike to Marwin Gonzalez. Toward the bottom of the order for the Astros, Gonzalez swings and lofts this one out into left field. One away. And so yesterday we saw the Astros with the lead and not in a safe spot use their closer, Ken Giles, and he finished it off. And now tonight, Rangers, similar spot, 4-run lead, 9th inning. And they'll use Kela, and he gets a quick first out. That's a nice start.
That is one of the advantages of not naming a closer, or at least officially, and that is making sure guys understand that even if you had some kind of defined role, that you may be asked to be pitched in a situation that doesn't necessarily fall under that role. I mean, we have seen it. We've seen it a bunch. We saw it last night with Ken Giles, right? Comes in, non-save situation. Doesn't look that sharp. Lets up a run, and the Astros still won the game. Sometimes closers in non-save situations struggle a little bit.
1-0 to Evan Gattis. Good heat for a strike. 1-1. Kela is 24 years old. And Jeff Bannister would basically sum it up as, look, the most dynamic stuff currently in his bullpen. That big fastball is popped up out into short right field. Odor wants it. And Mazzara lets him take it 2 away.
No, you're right. He definitely has the stuff for it. It's a deadly combination. The fastball, curveball from Kella. They are high-powered pitches, both of them. Incredible spin that he gets on the curveball. Throws the high fastball extremely well. But he has the other thing that you're looking for. You can't put a metric on it. You can't put a number on it. And he's got that edge to him. And he's got the desire to want to close and to be in big spots and take on a leadership role in that bullpen. And the Rangers are very well aware of that. And that's why when they're trying to identify candidates for closer, Kella's name keeps coming up as a go-to guy.
Manny recently referred to him as having a bulldog mentality, the competitive edge you're talking about. And he's definitely all fight. And a max effort guy. The 1-0. Good low. Rangers trying to even this series with a win here tonight. A 4-game set with their in-state rivals, and tell them this is downstairs 3-0 to J.D. Davis. There's a strike. Davis takes the walk. Now Max Stassi.
Just a second walk tonight out of the Ranger bullpen. Of course, that has been something that was talked about as far as what happened last year with this club and the focus in 2018 and going forward, making sure that they are filling up the strike zone. And so far through 3 2/3, not too bad with the 2 walks tonight.
The bullpen was pretty sharp yesterday. Looked very good today, and the breaking ball in there for a strike to Stassi. That's part of what makes Keone Kella such a compelling closer candidate. He's got that big fastball, but can come right back at you with a nasty breaker. Stassi held up. 1-1.
You know, a lot of times when we talk about relief pitchers, it is about simplifying your repertoire, especially guys that have started in the past, and really trying to master, if you can, 2 pitches. And for some guys, mastering 1. Right, Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman with the changeup. You think about some of the great closers that we've seen in the past. Well, I look at Kella as a guy who has 2 dominant pitches that can dominate any good hitter in the big leagues, and that's a good elevated fastball, especially when it's up in the zone, to go with the really good curveball. It's a really good combination because of the tightness on the spin of the breaking ball. Very difficult to pick up when it's on, and he does a good job of times making it smaller, making it bigger, and having a feel for when he wants to do that.
2-1. Way up there, and J.D. Davis taken off for second base, uncontested. Jake Diekman ready in the bullpen, just in case they need him. There's a big strike. Full count now on Stassi. Defensive indifference allowing J.D. Davis to take second base there a moment ago. And everybody to their feet. 35,469 here tonight. That should do it. Popped up. First base side. Gallo is there. Kella gets it done, and the Rangers even the series. 5-1 our final score tonight. So nice to shake hands out there by the mound. And CJ, this one tonight, Rangers offense, hey, they scored the 5 runs. That's great. And we knew they would score some runs. But what a night from Doug Fister and this bullpen.
Yeah, good contributions from the pitching staff. And Doug Fister was the one that started off making his Rangers debut against his old team, the Houston Astros. And we know Doug Fister is a guy who fills up the strike zone well, uses that good two-seam fastball. Also, the breaking pitches tonight were pretty good. And he held down a pretty good offense and got some big outs when he needed them. Some big ground balls, fielded his own position very well, which he has always done. So a really nice job by him. But then it was the bullpen. Chris Martin in back-to-back games, pitching and striking out Carlos Correa, and then Evan Gattis. And he actually had a very nice inning. Alex Claudio, though, had to come in to help finish up that 6th inning and got the strikeout. J.D. Davis, and then he had a clean inning in the 7th. And an overall really good night. The Texas Rangers pitching staff, and yes, the runs, of course, mattered, but nice job by everybody. Keona Kella finishing things up as well. Non-safe situation, but good to see him get his first 0 on the board so far this year.
Boy, that offense did not relent tonight. Just kept putting the pressure on those Astros pitchers all night. One of those guys, certainly in the middle of all the fun, Joey Gallo, and he's standing by with Emily Jones.
Thank you very much, Joey Gallo. Nice to get the first win out of the way.
Yeah, it's definitely nice against a really good team. So it's good for our confidence, and our pitching bullpen was amazing today. So hopefully we can keep that going.
Are you aware of how fast the ball came off of your bat in the 7th inning?
I don't really care, to be honest.
I know, but it was fast.
Yeah.
116 miles an hour. Pretty fast. Have you ever hit a ball that hard?
I'm not sure, honestly. But, yeah, I mean, still a double. So, like I said, I don't really care about that.
I know everyone's been talking about the crazy shifts played against you. How are you approaching that, or is it factoring into your mind at all?
I mean, I still go up there and try to do what I do at the plate. I don't want to change too much because then that makes me a different player. I go up there and take my swings and hit the ball the way I know I can. The shift's not going to matter anyway, so get out of my element.
And for you guys, just as a team, the chemistry coming together from spring, starting this season, wanting to start it on a positive note, how big is that, especially here at home?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, and that's what we want to keep going. We want to finish this series strong, and it's a good start right now against a really good team, like I said. So a lot of positives.
Joey, thanks. We'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, nice job, Emily. The beer tastes just a little bit better tonight with this Rangers 5-1 win. Hey, stay with us. John Radigan, Pudge Rodriguez, and Mark McLemore set to discuss the solid debut of Doug Fister. Mazzara, of course, going yard, and I'll have all the player reactions from this one tonight. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Rangers Live, presented by FiOS by Frontier, is coming up next.